It's not an expression. I don't know. I don't know.
And then I just saw. And John.
Everybody.
We need one more. I'll put it down. Oh, thank you. Where is it?
With your attention, we're going to start now. Welcome. My name is Valerie Mason, and I am the chair of Manhattan Community Board 8. Welcome to everyone to our September full board meeting. We have a full room, which is great. Thank you very much. And everyone has the agenda. We will start this evening with the public session, and we'll start in the room. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. You want to? Yeah. I just want to hear the whole. Or do you want to start? What's the whole? Oh, the whole public session. Oh. Okay. I'll talk at the end. Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so we'll start off. I'll call out a couple of names, and if you could just line up at the podium so we get a stream of people, that would be fantastic. Erica Burson, Odette Wilkins, Annette Barr, and Rosenberg. Okay, so we didn't say that. Yasmina Paloma. Okay, sorry.
You can use the lectern, and if the microphone is red, you just need to push the little button to make it turn. And then you are in charge. Oh my God.
What are you doing?
Yes. You get 2 minutes and 1 second.
Hi, my name is Erica Burson, and I'm with the 72nd Neighborhood Association. And on Monday, September 30th, we are going to be having a meeting on the bail reform and laws around bail reform, and that is at 6:30 at the Holy Trinity Church at 337 East 74th Street. The keynote speaker is going to be Ames Brar. Valerie, can you help me out? Ames Brar.
That's right.
Okay. Senior counsel of the John L. New Council of the Brennan Center for Justice. And the panel discussion and Q&A includes Michael Alcazar from John Day College, a criminal justice and former NYPD detective, Kelly Conliffe and Jennifer Hose from Legal Aid Society, and Nick Beast, who is the president of the Police Community Council of the 19th Precinct. And I think it's going to be a dynamic discussion that is of interest to our neighborhood and other neighborhoods in the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
My name is Odette Wilkins, and I'm a technology transactional attorney. I also head up the New York City Alliance for Safe Technology, as well as the National Call for Safe Technology, which consists of a coalition of well over 100 community groups and individuals who are concerned about the proliferation of 5G towers throughout our communities. In New York City, we are looking at 5G towers right outside our windows and proposed outside our windows, 2,000 of them approximately. And the justification the city gives is bridging the digital divide to serve the unserved and the underserved. But where is the evidence showing that the locations where these towers are proposed are lacking service? They can't address that. And when the question has been asked, we've been told the telecom industry considers that information proprietary. I'm sorry, if they're using public assets, our streets, that is not proprietary anymore. There should be full transparency. Also, federal case law in New York requires evidence of a gap in service, using the least intrusive means to fill that gap. Right now, in terms of 5G towers, there's no evidence of a gap. And they're using the most intrusive means right outside our windows. Also, there was a City Environmental Quality Review Act, report regarding the 5G towers and their environmental impact. It said no significant impact on energy consumption. But 5G is known by the industry to be very power hungry and can consume 3 to 4 times the energy for 4G and maybe up to 61 times by 2030. Is 5G safe, especially cumulative exposure to different frequencies? There's been no pre-market testing for 5G as confirmed by Senator Blumenthal when he questioned the telecom executives in 2019. The World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified wireless radiation as a possible human carcinogen in 2011. There are scientists on that working group who are now calling it a human carcinogen. Swisscom patent to lower wireless radiation because of the high risk of cancer. And a cell tower that was placed near an elementary school affected 3 children, one of whom died of brain cancer, and 5 teachers got breast cancer. The tower was removed. There were no more incidences of cancer. So please consider these issues, these facts, when you're considering the 5G towers. Thank you.
Very much. Okay, Annette Rosenberg.
Next meeting, a good next one.
There are, for the board members, there are a couple of seats that are empty in the front. Hi, my name is Annette Rosenberg. I live in the district. I'm here just to go on the record with something about the MSK Pavilion. In the statement of community district needs and community board budget request for fiscal year 2025, CB8 wrote that, quote, the influx of very tall as of right buildings along the eastern avenues through York inclusive strains the infrastructure and municipal services, reduces access to light and air, and threatens the character of surrounding mid-blocks. Despite all this, on May 8th, CB8 approved Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center rezoning application for a nearly 600-foot tall pavilion that is completely antithetical to everything outlined in the district needs document. It is demolishing housing at 1233 York Avenue. It is not creating any parks or open space. It will negatively impact residents' quality of life for years to come. It will strain the infrastructure. Its lack of setbacks will reduce access to light and air, and it will generally destroy the character of the surrounding residential community. Most importantly for me, as a parent of 2 children attending PS 183, including my son who's here with me, it will negatively impact 550 elementary school students at the school this year and every year after. These children who have been a mere afterthought throughout the ULURP process will bear the brunt of the toxic dust, noise, traffic, and other environmental impacts of the proposed pavilion. Despite the community board's condition that MSK create a building that meets its needs in a lower profile structure, MSK has done nothing to alter its plan. It hasn't even shown elevations for 66th Street despite multiple requests, nor has it acted in good faith toward the PS 183 community. MSK claims to need this building for the coming wave of cancer incidents, yet the CDC study they are basing this application on concludes that a robust prevention program is needed immediately. Their proposed pavilion, however, will only be focused on treating cancer, not prevention. MSK's own board member, the developer Bruce Ratner, has even written, early detection is the single best thing we can do to reduce cancer deaths. Treatment is of course necessary, and terrific oncologists at Sloan Kettering and other top cancer centers do tremendous work, but they are fighting an uphill battle against cancers caught too late in the game. It is also too late in the game for this community board to reverse its decision regarding rezoning. However, it is not too late for every single member who voted yes to contact Julie Menon's office immediately, urge her to vote no, and use member deference to urge her fellow council members to vote no on this rezoning, unless MSK significantly modifies the proposal to meet the district's needs and not just those of their stakeholders. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next, Yasmina Palumbo. Okay, I'm sorry, yes.
Yasmina Palumbo. I'm here to speak on this board's approval of MSK Pavilion as well. On May 8th, I attended the land use meeting with my daughter Paloma here tonight as well. And I believed that evening that as residents of East 66th Street and a PS 183 parent, that I had a say, that I could voice my opinion and take part in the process to decide the future of our neighborhood. I was one of 19 community members who registered to speak in person in opposition to the MSK Pavilion versus the 8 speakers who spoke in support, none of whom spoke in person, 2 of whom represented union workers and the trades, and none of whom lived in the immediate vicinity of 1233 York Avenue, the buildings being demolished, the residential buildings being demolished. Despite overwhelming opposition from the community, this board voted inversely to our wishes and then went on to claim publicly that the community was evenly split, patently false. The one good thing that came out of that evening, though, was that I met fellow parent Anna Rosenberg, with whom I co-founded the organization called FACT, Families Advocating for Children to Thrive. We co-founded this group with other neighborhood parents who also felt disenfranchised by this board's decision that evening. Up until May 8th, we all believed community boards advocated for families, that you would protect the health and well-being of our children. Instead, with your vote to approve, you have cast local families and PS 183 community into a nightmare of fearing for our children's safety and quality of life daily. 2 minutes it is. So, is this board aware that MSK has refused to abide by the May 8th resolution calling for a lower profile, instead insisting that it must use every inch of air rights and build the full 594 feet tallest hospital in the world without setbacks, blocking light and air to the community for generations to come? Are you aware that MSK still has not made available air quality monitoring results despite asbestos abatement rumored to have begun last month, and that it has ignored requests for HEPA filters for surrounding residents? This pavilion does not belong in our neighborhood. We do. These are our homes, our school, our children's playground, and our air that we must breathe. To restore integrity to this board, we urge every member to call Councilmember Julie Menon and request a no vote on this rezoning application and bring it back to the community respectfully.
Thank you. Clara Vasquez. Yeah, okay. We will go to Zoom. And we will start off somewhat traditionally with Evelyn David.
Evelyn, you can unmute. You'll have 2 minutes on the clock, starting now.
Hi. Traditionally, here we are. Hi, good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be listening to all of this. And the lady with just spoke about the high tower, whatever that thing is they're going to build. This is congestion pricing. Okay, everybody's so worried about air quality, but they're building these gigantic things that are going to cut off the air and the sunlight. Okay, anyway, the whole thing is ludicrous. I started thinking about kings and serfs, okay? Nobody wants to increase prices or taxes on the extremely wealthy or find a way to my spiel on municipal parking lots in the outer boroughs. That would cut out probably 50% or 60% of traffic coming in to Manhattan. Over the bridge, get into a parking lot, jump on the subways. The subways would be packed with people. The city would make money from the municipal parking lots as opposed to private parking lots downtown that would be more expensive. So anyway, and anybody thinks that congestion pricing is a great thing and it's going to take care of air quality is completely wrong. Because why are you giving $500 million to Richie Torres in the Bronx to take care of the extra pollution that's going to be created by the extra traffic? So this is. Anyway, we're working people. I kept thinking about kings and serfs, okay, all day long. And that's kind of where I stand on this. The other thing is the report on busing, the buses and people cheating on the back door. Then during the summer, I had occasion twice a week to go on buses. Going downtown was one thing on Lex, but going across on 42nd Street, the crosstown bus, 4 to 5 people a day, if not more, would come in the back door. And I suddenly started thinking, lock the back door. The heck with it. They can't have, or make it only, you can't just, I don't know, whatever, they're losing so much money with this. And then they wanted.
Okay.
That was that music was being cut off. Apparently.
I was wondering if that sounded like NBC News in the background. Okay, it works. Arnold Moore.
Arnold, if you're here, and anybody who's called in the virtual,
Yeah, it's gonna be
public
Arnold,
session,
Arnold Moore, Jill McManus, Neil Sweeble, Andrew Fine, Corey Brown, Albert the Pickle Doctor, and Eric.
but if you are the next person called up, use the react icon, find the raise hand button and raise your virtual hand. If you're having a problem finding that, you can always chat me and I can help you. I don't see who's the person, Albert? No, Arnold. I do not see Arnold. If you were here, I will come back to you. Who's next?
Jill McManus?
Jill, are you here? Jill, if you are here, please raise your virtual hand. No Jill.
Okay, Niels Weevil.
Niels Weeble. Neil, if you were here, didn't I email? Or didn't?
I.
What was
Yeah.
that? No, there's no Neil.
Okay, Andrew Fine.
Andrew, fine, I do see.
Okay, go for it, Andrew.
Andrew, you have 2 minutes on the clock.
I'm actually here, and do I see Liz Kruger there? Is Liz
Yes.
there? Hi, Liz.
Yes.
Thank you for all your support for all of our e-bike initiatives in Albany. We really appreciate it. I'm here representing the New York City E-Vehicle Safety Alliance. You can find more information about us at nycevsa.org. I want to let everybody here know that we are having a town hall next Tuesday, the 24th at 7 p.m. at St. Paul and St. Andrews on West 86th Street. That's 263 West 86th Street. We will have testimony from victims of e-bike and stand-up scooter crashes. We will have ER technicians, the head of ER at St. Barnabas. We'll have elected officials to discuss where we are in terms of legislation. We have supporters and we have some people that are not doing anything. I'm happy to tell everybody that Julie Menon has now signed on to both of our e-bike bills, one to register all e-bikes in New York City, and the second one to get e-bikes the heck out of Central Park and other parks and roadways. I would encourage everybody to please come if you're frustrated by the chaos on our streets and sidewalks. Please come to our town hall next Tuesday at St. Paul and St. Andrews, 263 West 86th Street. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, please reach out to nyc-evsa@outlook.com. That's nyc-evsa@outlook.com. Thank you so much. And by the way, Keith Powers is not on either of our bills, and he should really take account for himself.
Music, okay, we're gonna go back to Jill McManus.
Jill, you can unmute.
Welcome.
See your hand up, so just look for a prompt on your device whenever we call your name. To unmute. Go ahead, Jill. She's unmuted right now. Jill, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. I know we've had this problem before with Jill.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jill, we can't hear you. You're unmuted. If you can figure it out, I'll leave you unmuted.
Corey Brown.
Corey, you're up next.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I'm Corey Brown. I live on 82nd in York. I just had a really quick note. I am a big pickleball player. I play at Carlsford Park. I love it, but there's just been a lot of drama and like fighting and just issues at the courts. And I think a super easy solution to solve all this would just be to have permanent nets at the courts. I would love if there's something we could do about that. Maybe ones with wheels so we could roll them away when there's movie night and other events there. But yeah, that's my piece. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Corey. Okay, I think I incorrectly identified, it's Albert, the pickleball guy.
Albert. Albert, if you are here in the, yes, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
iPhone? All right,
Okay, welcome.
iPhone. That is you. Go ahead. Albert, you should be able to unmute. Look for a thing on your device. Look for a prompt on your device, Albert, to unmute.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Do you hear me? Yes? This is my question. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
This is my question. I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but this is my question. I'm out with the pickleball doctor. I started Carlsford for pickleball at Carlsford Park. We have 3,500 members. I received an award from Assemblywoman Seawright. But But since that time, it's all been downhill. Even though we expanded and we have 3,500 members, a beautiful community, for some reason, we cannot seem to get a bin. While Brad Hutcherson gets a private bin and other people are getting private bins, we are not able to get a public bin. And now we lost the private bin. And my question is this fair for a community that's thriving and is beautiful? I've been doing this every single day for the past 3 summers, all year long, from 7 in the morning to 8 at night. It's a community bin. It's community nets. So why, if we are the ones playing here, why can't we get a bin, whether private or public at this point? We were hoping for public, but we'll take whatever we can get. Thank you very much.
Are you a community resident?
Yes, I'm a community resident. I'm a volunteer. I started pickleball in Cultural Park.
I asked you if you lived in the neighborhood.
I think you said yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, and I can tell you I see him in college.
Well, I know you see him there, but it doesn't mean he lives in the neighborhood. But anyway, okay, Erin? And we have one more time.
Yeah, that's all we have. Please identify your full name and if you live in the neighborhood.
Hi, my name's Aaron Goldstein. I do live in the neighborhood. I'm here to talk about the permit being approved for Jacques, the restaurant on 85th Street between 2nd and 3rd for the outdoor dining. I'm pretty vehemently against it. So in our community, just through some local outreach, we created a petition that's gotten 54 signatures against it. They've continuously had rats. There's also an article linked to our petition describing it as a foul odor on the Upper East Side site. I'm happy to include that link. I also, I don't know if I should put it in the chat or just describe the website to you guys. I also have the Jacques permit number for their health code ratings. I would appreciate if the board took time to look into their past health code ratings, because while they do currently have an A, in the past, even before the shed, they've had B's and C's for rats. It's been a continuous problem in our neighborhood, and we would really like to petition you guys to not approve it. Additionally, we were only made aware that this meeting was happening yesterday, so while I'm not entirely sure on when the document was posted on their window, many members of our community have been waiting for it, and we all only saw it yesterday, but I can't say with certainty whether or not it was posted before. So if the board does decide to approve it, we ask that you guys at least wait another time until the next meeting for more of us to come and speak our case, because many other members of our community are in a different board meeting right now. Thank you for your time. Oh, should I put the things in the chat, the different links in the chat? Would that be helpful?
No, most everybody in the room will not see the stuff that's in the chat, but you're welcome to share it, either to our email address, info@cb8m.com, or you can put it in the chat and I'll share it with the folks who are in the Zoom room.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
It's taking me a while to get used to that, I'm sorry. Brent Goldstein?
Brent, you can unmute.
Hello, I'm also speaking on behalf of hoping the street permit for Jacques gets disapproved. They have an extreme history of negligence when it comes to health code violations, and it's led to an increase of rats in the neighborhood. And frankly, I think there are several other restaurants in the neighborhood that are far more deserving of a permit for outdoor dining, and do agree and second everything Erin said. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of the public session. And so just to refresh everyone's memory, we have eliminated representatives of elected speaking via Zoom. And so if there are representatives in the room to speak on behalf of electeds, please let us know if you haven't already. And I'm happy to welcome our state senator, Elizabeth Cooper.
Call me Elizabeth. It is my legal name, but I run for office as Liz Kruger, and I certainly hope you'll all call me Liz. But apparently Valerie and I need to talk. Anyway, hello everyone that I don't know, hello everyone with many of you that I do know for many years. My name is Liz Kruger. I am probably your state senator if you live in Community Board 8. No?
Not anymore.
Oh, some of you are a little bit north of the redistricting, and so you're in Senator Serrano's district. Okay, so if Senator Serrano is your district, is your senator, I am not. But I have to say, Marco Serrano and I do an enormous amount of work together. And if you're getting materials from me, that's fine. It doesn't matter whether you're in my district or not. I'm very proud to be the state senator for a very unusual district at this point since we have redistricting. So I have Community Board 8, much of Community Board 6, some Community Board, maybe all of Community Board 5, a little piece of Community Board 4, Roosevelt Island. If you think about it map-wise, I've got Chelsea, I've got Gramercy, I've got Midtown, sort of 59th down right through the center. I've got Times Square, I have Penn Station, and I have Roosevelt Island. So they used to say it was the East Side District. That's not really true anymore. So I cover a lot of territory, and I personally believe I've got the best staff in government. And Audrey Tannen, who I think is on Zoom tonight, I saw a box with her in it, is my representative to Community Board 8. She's also my district office manager, so she actually knows everything, which is very handy to have staff who know everything. I know I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about many things. A lot of the issues that you deal with are in fact the city issues, and I'm a state legislator. But my philosophy is once you get elected and people bring issues to you, it doesn't matter whether it's a federal, state, or city issue, you need to figure out how to be helpful. So I appreciate getting to hear different concerns that you raised tonight. I will tell you, I've been spending quite a bit of my time lately on dealing with what are we going to do with the congestion pricing crisis. Because whether you like congestion pricing or you don't like congestion pricing, we spent 15 years getting to this point. We thought we were going to get $15 billion bonded to complete the capital plan for the MTA. That's a 5-year plan that we're supposed to be ending. And we have more like $17 billion worth of work left to do on that capital plan, but no funding plan for that. Some people say we'll just roll it over to next year. Well, here's our problem, folks. Next year, we're going to do a new 5-year capital plan for the MTA. And that's estimated to be conservatively $69 billion we have to figure out how to pay for. And we have to, because we don't have a future in the city unless we have a 21st century public transportation system. And it's not just the city of New York, it's the entire region, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. And of course, New York City is the economic breadbasket for the state. So it impacts upstate New York as well. So we really have our hands full trying to make sure we come up with funding to make sure that our capital plan for the MTA, plural capital plans, go forward and are funded. We also have to deal with the fact that it's not just about money, it's about the congestion and the environmental damage. And for the part of my district that is in that zone, when you look at the data on the congestion, and I think you all know this, you can walk across town faster than you can take a bus, right? And the environmental risk is a summer we just finished, where every day when you would look up the weather report, and it would also tell you air quality, it would basically be saying older people, people with respiratory illnesses, and very young children probably shouldn't be outside because of the air quality. So these are massive issues we need to deal with, and I'm committed to getting us to the right answer. I know that you have a committee who's been working on these issues, so thank you for that, for sharing your materials. I also can't go to the event on the 24th that Andrew Fine was talking about, although I always try to go to all of them, because I'm actually speaking at the Bar Association that night on another important issue. Prop 1, the Equal Rights Amendment, which will be on your ballot when you go and vote in November. So I'm not trying to be partisan. I'm just pointing out that I think most people know there's an election in November and might even be voting. So when you choose to go vote, whoever you vote for, please be aware, you have to turn that ballot over because there will be, I believe, 6 proposition questions. The first one is about the state constitution and non-discrimination for all New Yorkers. And then the other 5 are city charter, and I know nothing about them, so I don't even have a position to imply there. I will say on Proposition 1, I spent 5 years of my life writing it, so I feel like I'm very, very sure of what it is, and so you'll guess where I am on that one. I don't want to have more time because I don't know if the music plays me off in real life.
But we wish you much good luck as you wrestle with funding the capital plan. And we invite you to come to our voter reform seminar in October, where we'll be talking about what's on the ballot. So that'll be great.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Carolyn. I'm from Councilman Power's office. Talk about a couple of projects we have going. So scaffolding, it's everywhere. It's ugly, it has to change. So why is New York covered in scaffolding? It's supposed to protect us from falling debris, while buildings do inspections, repairs. Many of these buildings aren't even doing work. And rather than make the necessary repairs, property owners put up sidewalk sheds to comply with local laws. And then the scaffolding sticks around for years and years and sometimes decades. So Councilmember Powers is working on a package of reforms to overhaul scaffolding. So one of the proposals would create timelines for removing scaffolding if no actual construction is happening. And instead, the city would step in and make the repairs and then bill the property owner. Another piece would update the design requirements, so it wouldn't feel like you're kind of walking through a dark tunnel. Anyway, so Councilmember Powers is negotiating the specifics with the Department of Buildings and City Administration, so stay tuned. Smoke shops. So Sheriff's Office has been shutting down unlicensed smoke shops around the city. We want to make sure the cannabis market is above board with regulated legal shops that are following testing and labeling guidelines. If there are any locations that you think should be inspected, please let us know and we will tell the Sheriff's Office. And then one last thing, there's a big waterfront update. Progress is continuing on the East River Greenway, and New York City is moving forward with the next segment of the pedestrian path. It'll stretch from 53rd to 41st Street by the UN and expected to open in 2028. And ultimately, there's this huge project to build a 32-mile waterfront path all the way around Manhattan. And I'll be here in the back if anyone wants to talk to you about anything else. Thanks so much, Shane.
Next, what if we have all the representatives just line up and then you can go. Hannah, yes, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Wienerman from Congressman Jerry Mather's office. I don't have an update on the shutdown or funding. We have 12 days to fund the government. I will keep you posted next meeting. Hopefully it'll be a resounding yes that we've done it and it's great. So last week, Congressman Mather introduced a bicameral bill called the Polluters Pay Climate Fund Act. The bill would authorize the Treasury Department to collectively charge top polluting fossil fuel companies a total of $1 trillion over 10 years to establish the Polluters Pay Climate Fund. Nearly half of the funds that this legislation can raise will be used for investments that benefit environmental justice communities that have borne the brunt of the climate change crisis. Additionally, he introduced the continued cost of the September 11th Terrorist Attacks Act. This legislation would allow FEMA to reimburse the state and city pension system for the loss in pension payments due to the unanticipated death of those who responded to the terrorist attack and those who participated in the cleanup in the weeks following. It's critical that we address this funding shortfall, safeguard the FDNY, NYPD pensions, and ensure that families of these heroes continue to receive the benefits that they deserve. Our office sent out a constituent services e-newsletter on Monday with important updates to Medicare, federal student loan payments, and veterans benefits. All the information is on our website at mather.house.gov. You should take a look, and if you have any questions or need assistance with any of the changes, if it affects your Medicare, if it affects your student loan payments, do contact our office. You can send a casework request or give us a call. One local item I wanted to flag for Roosevelt Island constituents that the collection box located across from 30 River Road has been restored back to service as at the end of August. So if you're a Roosevelt Island resident and it's not restored, do let us know. And then lastly, the federal government will once again be offering to send out free COVID-19 tests. It's slated for the end of September. I don't have the exact date, but information's on covidtest.gov. And at next meeting, I'll let you know how long they're offering the service. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Go ahead. Up next. Come to the front.
Hi, everybody. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
My name is Summer. I'm Senator Serrano's office. Just a few quick updates for you guys this week. So last week, Senator Serrano participated in Assemblymember Boris's town hall. I know I see some familiar faces from that event as well. Thank you to everybody that came out to that. He was happy to provide a brief update on the work that we're doing for Senate District 29. And, you know, we definitely took notes on everything that was mentioned there. We're going to continue to work on resolving those issues for you guys. On Friday of last week, we had an emergency preparedness training course. Attendees were able to learn how to protect themselves and their families in the event of any natural disasters and extreme weather. We're hosting another one of those events. Well, the specific date for you guys. It is in the Bronx. It's at Patterson Older Adult Center. That's going to be next Tuesday, the 24th at 11 a.m. You can register on. Let's see. Sorry, I should have pulled that up beforehand. It is on prepare.ny.gov. If you don't feel like going all the way to the Bronx, you can definitely go on the website and find other elected officials that are also hosting. Oops, excuse me. That are also hosting those events, maybe closer to you. And we will also be having a constituent services hours with Assemblymember Boris next Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. at River Park. And you can just stop by and speak to us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sonia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Harry Gale. For those that don't know me, great to be back after the summer break. I'm the Director of Constituent Services for Councilmember Julie Menon, and I'd love to give you some updates. First and foremost, it was great to be at John Jay Park yesterday with Chair Valerie Mason to unveil $1 million of upgrades that the council member did at the park. This includes extensive concrete work around the pool area, the multi-purpose play area, new water fountains, benches, and a new ADA ramp, all at John Jay Park. Again, this totaled $1 million, and if you go to the park now, it looks completely different, and we're really proud to be able to unveil that with the Parks Commissioner and Val yesterday. I would love to talk about tomorrow at 10 a.m. There's going to be a hearing at City Council under the Committee on Government Operations, State and Federal Legislation. This is for Resolution 0132 that would call on the state legislature and governor to enact new rules on Roosevelt Island that would allow the Roosevelt Islanders to appoint through voting the board members of REOC. This is super important. The hearing was just scheduled last minute on Monday for tomorrow. Again, it's 10 a.m. If you'd like to submit written testimony, you could do that on the City Council website. You can also go to council.nyc.gov/testify if you want to sign up to testify either on Zoom tomorrow at 10 a.m. or in person in the committee room at City Hall. We would love for everyone to come out, especially from Roosevelt Island. We think this is super important and want to show the state legislature and government that the city is completely behind this much needed change. Probably out of time, but thank you so much for having me. I'll be here.
Harry?
Yes.
We have two people in the public session talk about MSA. Can you
Yes.
update where the council?
Yes, so thank you all for those. I see some in the back for sure that came to our hearing in person, which was super exciting last week, last two Tuesdays ago. And the council member, you know, really appreciated parents, patients, community members that all gave their testimony for the Memorial Sloan Kettering Tower. For those that aren't aware, this is the project that's going up between 66th and 67th Street on York Avenue. That was passed with a resolution with different contingencies from this community board. It's going to be voted on by City Council by the end of the month. It has to, according to the UR. And the council member is in ongoing negotiations with Memorial Sloan Kettering. And this is involving mitigations for construction, as well as, all types of community investment, that hopefully we'll be seeing, soon after the year. We're discussing all these things.
All right, thank you very much. I didn't mean to bring that on you, but.
No worries.
For the public session, I think we should.
And I'll be here at the end as well.
That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead, Brittany.
Hi, good evening. My name is Courtney Barcy. I'm here representing the office of Assembly Member Rebecca Stewart. This week is National Voter Registration Week, and we rallied with CUNY students with disabilities at the CUNY Graduate Center for disability voting rights and to encourage them to use their power and vote. Assemblymember Stewart was the lead sponsor of the Equal Rights Amendment, now known as Proposition 1 on the November ballot, so we remind you to flip your ballot to vote on the proposition. The Assemblymember will be a guest speaker on Community Board 8's Women and Families Committee next week on the Equal Rights Amendment, what you need to know before you vote, and that's on September 25th at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom. The next no-cost paper shredding is on Tuesday, October 29th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 81st Street, York Avenue. And we'll be announcing our COVID and flu shot booster point schedule soon. As always, please consider our office your resource. We have no-cost notary services, a housing legal clinic. We're located at 1485 York Avenue between 78th and 79th Streets. You can reach us at CRA@nyassembly.gov or by calling 212-288-4607. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we have the deputy president here. Yeah, thank you for coming this evening.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, Sutton James.
Okay, sorry, awesome. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm Keisha. For those of you who I haven't met in person or haven't seen on Zoom, I'm Keisha Sutton James, Deputy Manhattan Borough President. Thrilled to be here on behalf of Borough President Lean, who is otherwise occupied. So a few quick updates on composting, guys. Yay! It's like Assemblyman Boris's mom. Good to see you again. So composting is going to be coming live October 6th. We're super excited. Our office has actually distributed over $100,000 to and awards to local organizations that have been supporting and educating people about composting. So we're really excited. Obviously, universal composting is the next big push for the office, but we're excited to arrive where we are. License plate policies. I don't know if you guys have heard about ghost plates. Yes, okay. So ghost plates, for those who are not yet aware, are ways that people obstruct or otherwise disclose their license plates so that they can start fines, fees, and obviously, drive and do things that are illegal, like speed and evade law enforcement. Some of them are super high technology, even like a click of the button that like a curtain covers them. It can be a plastic cover, a paper cover. It's kind of, the borough president sometimes calls it the James Bond of license plates. But it's serious business. It's over hundreds of thousands of, literally 100,000 plus per month plates that are going undetected just by DOT cameras, never mind the bridges and tunnels and so forth that are, connecting to the other, boroughs and the tri-state area. So we're losing out on hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue, and also most importantly, as I said, it's a safety issue. So the borough president has put out a report about ghost plates with a number of different recommendations in it. That include, of course, many of you know that borough president was a science teacher, is a total AI geek. And so one of the things is using AI to recognize partial plates, using a special radio frequency ID sticker that would be in the plates that would enable the scanners to pick up on radio frequency that would be on your registration. So high-tech solutions, James Bond solutions for James Bond, ghost plate criminality, I will say. I'm making all that up like on my plan. So I can get a chart on that. Couple of other things. Wanted to make you all aware of the leadership training series that our office puts on every year for board members and the community at large is coming up. The dates that, all of the sessions will be held will be October 28th through August 2nd. Those of you who have experience on the board, know that the mandatory sessions are conflict of interest and EEO, but then there are many other sessions like land use, budget, many other sessions that will be offered. So please make sure to come to our website so you can get all the information. Again, mandatory for board members are the EEO and the conflict of interest trainings. And then lastly, I wanted to make sure that folks are aware of a very important announcement, a staffing announcement from our office, which is that our former deputy director, acting director of community affairs has elevated. Eric Coyo is now officially our director of community affairs. If you need anything from him, his email address is ecoyos, ECUELLO @manhattanpp.nyc.gov. So Waiba Shabazz, our liaison for community board 8 and 9 is here present tonight. And I hope you all know her. If you don't, please get to know her tonight. Thank you for letting me say all this. Sure.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that as well. Okay, well, we did go out of order. I apologize for that, and I thank you to the applicants that are here for the public hearing for your patience. So we're gonna move to the public hearing now. The first one relates to 854 Fifth Avenue Members Club, a private application pursuant to VR 74-711 to modify the use regulations of VR 2210 and the rear yard requirements of VR 2436, 24-392 to facilitate a private members club with 3 guest rooms in a landmark building on the Upper East Side, in the Upper East Side Historic District at 854 Fifth Avenue. And if these people are familiar to you, they have been here before at landmarks and other things. So go ahead, Valerie, welcome.
Good night. Good evening, at least. My name is Valerie Campbell. I'm a partner at Kramer Levin, and we're land use counsel, the owner of 854 Fifth Avenue. It's an individual landmark located on Fifth Avenue between 66th and 67th Street in the Upper East Side Historic District. I'm joined tonight by my colleague, Jessica Christie, Peter Penoyer, Jennifer Harris, and Pamela Montagna from Peter Penoyer Architects, and Jessica Parsley, the owner's representative from Grafton Limited, and Leslie Johns from Triple B, the hospitality consultant for that. I think, do we have our?
I am trying to get there, and then I will come to you and I'll talk to you in one moment. Sorry, I can't do both at the same time.
Sure.
And also, this is the slowest scroll I've ever done. Okay. All right.
Okay, so, actually we can move to the second slide.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So that everybody on Zoom can see it. Another even one. Scroll to the next slide.
Okay, the section 74-711 special permit projects includes the restoration and alterations to 854 Fifth Avenue. These alterations are part of a comprehensive restoration and repair program for the landmark, which is seriously deteriorated after many years of neglect and a devastating fire in 2018. The picture on the left shows this damage. When the owner purchased the building, it had some very sort of dilapidated sidewalk bridge up, and that was replaced, and this picture was taken sort of between the 2 sidewalk bridges. 854 Fifth Avenue is an individual landmark, and it's a contributing building in the Upper East Side Historic District. It was constructed in 1905 and designed by Warren and Wetton. It is a highly significant landmark. Its architects designed the New York Yacht Club and Grand Central Station, as well as many other significant hotels and buildings in New York City and throughout the country. The house was originally built for R. Livingston Beekman, but its most notable resident was Emily Thorne Vanderbilt Sloan White, who purchased the house in 1925 and lived there for 20 years. In 1946, the house was sold to the Republic of Yugoslavia for admission. The current owner purchased the house in 2022.
In addition to the complete restoration of the building, the owner intends to convert the building into a members club with 3 guest rooms. Next slide. Community Board 8 previously reviewed and approved our landmarks application for a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations to the building and the associated application requesting that LPC issue a report to the City Planning Commission pursuant to section 74.711. As this board knows, the 74.711 special permit is available to landmark buildings to waive certain use and bulk provisions of the zoning resolution in exchange for the owner's commitment to restore and maintain the landmark to a sound first-class condition in perpetuity. Next slide. The landmark is located in the R10 residential district and is also in the special park improvement district. Next. The owner's plans require a special permit because the members club is a use group 8 commercial use and the building is located in a residential district. Although there are only 3 guest rooms, they are classified as use group 5 hotel use because the intent is to allow for transient occupancy, which is defined as stays of less than 30 days, which is not otherwise permitted in a residential district. We also need a special permit to waive the rear yard regulations for an extension of the bulkhead. Next. The landmark is flanked by 2 large apartment buildings. To the north, at 2 East 67th Street, there is a 1927 apartment building designed by Rosario Candela. To the south, at 1 East 66th Street, there is a 1948 apartment building that was also designed by Rosario Candela. Immediately to the rear of the building, which you can see in the third picture to the right, is a former townhouse that is now the residence of the Japanese Consul General. Next, there are 3 conditions for any 74.711 special permit. The first is that Landmarks has issued a report stating that a program has been established for the continuing maintenance of the landmark. We satisfied this condition with a restrictive declaration that will condition the issuance of the certificate of occupancy for the proposed uses upon the completion of the restoration work required to bring the building back to its own first-class condition. The restrictive declaration will also require this owner and any future owner to commit to a program of periodic inspections and maintenance in perpetuity. The second condition is that LPC has issued a certificate of appropriateness for the proposed work, and which has happened. And the third condition is not applicable here because it relates to the number of dwelling units. Now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Peter Benoyer, who will briefly describe the restoration work and the alterations that are proposed for the landmarks.
Thank you, Valerie. Together with my team, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to restore this important Whitney Warren design landmark. As you can see, there's significant damage to the original fabric, both from deferred maintenance and from the 2018 fire. Our restoration addresses all the original masonry and metalwork. Some areas, such as the main cornice and deteriorated copper, will require replacement in kind. Missing elements, such as the 4th floor dormer railings, will be replaced to match the originals. The limestone areaway will be rebuilt entirely and incorporate an ADA lift nested behind retracting stone stairs. This will be the first use in New York of this Sesame lift system that gives a visitor using wheelchair unassisted direct access to the main entrance. Next. Originally built at full depth on the block, the building includes unusual design features facing the inside of the block, some of which are visible from an alley on 66th Street. Our restorations here include removing non-original elements installed by the Yugoslavian government, such as the jail cell-like security crates over windows. In the lower photograph on the right, you can see an iron railing which was inserted to replace the original limestone baluster. Fortunately, we found one baluster lying all the way down in the alley that allows us to match and replicate the entire original loggia. Next. These existing and proposed elevations identify the significant steps in our restoration. On the left, you'll note the entire shaded area, including the main cornice, must be replaced as the integrity of that stone was completely undermined in the process of extinguishing the fire. On the right, you can see that we are installing doors to match the original design intent, replacing flat steel doors that were installed as a security measure, likely in the 1950s. Next. Here you can see the restoration of the south elevation facing into the middle of the block. Our extension at the top, which is visible on the upper right, encloses a compliant egress stair and elevator. This small addition will be completely clad in copper with 3 double hung windows to match many of the original details in the facade below. Next. Even though the interiors don't fall under LPC purview, we're embarking on a detailed restoration. These rooms are rare survivors from the Gilded Age with completely intact painted and metal leaf decorative surfaces and tapestries hanging there since 1905. We believe that the room on the upper right was moved from the original Vanderbilt mansion at 52nd Street and 5th Avenue by Emily White. Next. Throughout the planning process, we presented our plans to many of our adjacent neighbors. We met individual apartment neighbors, toured them and shown them the building, and had tours for various members of the community board, the Land Rights Commission, and elected officials. We're grateful that there has been so much enthusiasm for this long overdue restoration, including letters of support from friends of the Upper East Side historic districts and the New York Landmarks Conservancy. Now, Valerie will discuss the finding.
So there are 2 findings that must be satisfied for the commission to grant a special permit. The first relates to the bulk waivers, which must have a minimal adverse effect on the structures or open space in the vicinity of the landmark in terms of scale, location, and access to light and air. The second finding relates to the use waiver. The commission must find that the proposed use will have a minimal adverse effect on the conforming residential and community facility uses in the surrounding area. Next. Here you see a comparative axonometric view that shows the enlarged elevator and stair bulkhead that requires a rear yard waiver. It's maybe a little bit hard to see in the room, but there is a. You have a
Just on the side of the
oh,
if that's useful. I don't know.
no, doesn't really see it.
You want me to go over?
Yeah, maybe. So.
Can you repeat what I'm saying?
So we're showing the addition to the stair bulkhead that requires the rear yard waiver, which is just the portion with the windows that you see. If you're seeing it on the screen, it's tinted light blue. This is a minimal encroachment behind the existing stair bulkhead that will allow for the addition of an ADA compliant elevator and stair bulkhead. Next slide. Here you see it in plan. It's a little bit easier to see on the plan. It's just that hatched area. And it's approximately 11 feet in depth, and it extends behind the historic bulkhead. Because of its location and the configuration of the building, the original configuration of the building, the bulkhead extension will not have any, or at most, a minimal adverse impact on the surrounding building. The existing and the proposed rear yard condition is typical of many Upper East Side blocks where historic apartment buildings and townhouses extend into the required 20 or 30-foot rear yard. The commission has granted similar bulk waivers for many section 74 and 711 special permit applications. Next. These sections through the building show the use waiver. The landmark will be converted in its entirety to a use group 8 non-commercial or private members club with 3 transient guest rooms. The guest rooms, I believe, are shown in red here, and the members club is in the blue. And then there are shared circulation spaces. Next.
This is a land use map, showing the area surrounding the club. It is predominantly residential and institutional, and you also see some commercial uses, that are indicated in red. Next slide. There are more than 15 private members clubs in the Upper East Side Historic District, and 12 of these are located in residential districts. Many of these clubs are considerably larger than 854 Fifth, and they also have a heavy calendar of private events such as wedding or benefits. In addition to these clubs, there are numerous hotels such as the Pierre, the Mark, the Lowell, and the Surrey that are located wholly or partially in residential districts. There are also, as you know, numerous cultural facilities and museums that are close to residential buildings that host special events at night, in addition to the public exhibitions that are open during the day. This particular map is just showing the members clubs that exist in Ward 8. I think the southernmost one is in 46. Next slide. Many of these clubs, such as the Lotus Club, the Leash Club, and the Metropolitan Club, are located in historic buildings. However, it's important to note that the H54 Fifth Club will not be an event space for weddings or bar mitzvahs. It will not be operated as a nightclub or a high occupancy use. And it is much more limited in terms of capacity to many other of the existing clubs, hotels, and cultural institutions. And the club will not allow or host private events for non-members. The 3 proposed guest rooms in the club will not create any significant impacts in terms of the number of guests. But the presence of the guest rooms will help ensure that the activities in the club will not create any disturbance for the neighbors and for its own guests. I'm now going to turn the presentation over to Jessica Parsley from Grafton, who will describe Grafton's role in the project, and Leslie Johns, who will describe the club operations.
Thank you, Valerie. Before we tell you about the club in a little more detail, we wanted to give you an overview to the project. I'm Jessica Parsley, representing Grafton London. Some of you may have already met my colleague, Sean Rubenheimer, who sends his apologies today. He is still actively involved in the project, and like myself, will be involved throughout. Grafton is focused on the development management and project management of luxury hospitality and residential properties. We specialize in delivering exceptional developments internationally and provide a service that goes way beyond that of traditional consultancy. We have undertaken and are working on some meticulous restoration projects on buildings of historical significance. This includes the Ritz in London, with a view to making it once again one of the finest hotels in the world. The Ritz was built in 1906, which is only a year apart from 854 Fifth Avenue, and with a similar Beaux-Arts inspired decor. We will be involved in the operational commission of the club, directing the development of operations, employing and setting up the operational team, and will remain to be involved post-completion. We pride ourselves on building ongoing relationships with all stakeholders involved in buildings. That includes not only the patrons of the building, but also neighbours, public officials, city agencies, and anyone with an interest in or is impacted by our presence, as we believe it's important to positively engage and be in the community. On this project, we have already engaged with numerous neighbours, stakeholders, and public officials, and have also undertaken building tours, and will continue to do so as the project progresses. Following comments previously received from this community board, we have engaged with the Open House Initiative in New York to allow access so the public can visit the historical interiors. Grafton are committed to being considerate neighbours with regard to operations and also during construction works. We make it a priority to select contractors and subs that have impeccable reputations, are specialists at what they do, and that will be considerate to our neighbours. We will ensure that the general contractor coordinates large deliveries, keeps noise to a minimum, controls dust, and keeps the neighbours informed throughout the necessary activities whilst the works progress. We will maintain a continued dialogue with neighbours and be accessible to them throughout. I will ensure the contractor appointed maintains our vision. Before we wrap up, we'd like to run through some anticipated key dates. So we're looking to start construction in Q1 2025, subject to approvals, with a view to complete construction Q4 2027, with the club opening Q1 2028. Next slide, please. We are underway with restoring the 18th century tapestries, and this week we have been completing test cleaning of the original paneling with John Canning Preservation to establish the original colors and pigments used, which will enable us to fully restore this room as its artisans intended. To conclude, before passing over to Leslie to discuss the club, 854 Fifth Avenue is not currently designated for residential use and has functioned de facto as a community facility and office for nearly 80 years. The building has served as a public diplomatic function, as an international mission, with employees accessing and egressing the building, hosting of diplomatic functions, consumption of food and beverage, and even sleeping quarters. As mentioned earlier, the club will open at the beginning of 2028, so a lot of the finer details will be established closer to opening. But there will be an opportunity to review and discuss that detail when we apply for other necessary licenses. We are honoured to be involved in this project and look forward to restoring it to its former glory and being part of this community. Thank you. I will now pass to Leslie Johns to tell you about the club.
So about the club, our goal is to create a new sense of membership on the Upper East Side. A club nestled in the heart of New York City was Iconic Avenue, designed for those who seek a sophisticated environment where quiet luxury and impeccable service come together seamlessly. An exclusive place to feel at home, a place of individual repose. 854 is a unique space in a fully restored landmark that would be a beautiful addition to its neighborhood. 854 embodies the perfect blend of historical grandeur and contemporary luxury. The club will function as a boutique retreat with 3 guest suites. Small dining rooms will provide limited space for intimate meetings, and dining with approximately 60 covers. The members club will be a venue for socializing, but never function as a nightclub. Music will be ambient, and there will be no gathering outside. About the design, with subtle exterior design, the club entrance will be elegant yet understated, blending seamlessly with the surrounding residential architecture. Signage will be minimal and sophisticated, ensuring the club maintains low profile while still conveying an air of prestige. We are working on restoring and reviving the historical spaces of 854, which will give an exquisite design for a unique New York City experience. We do not have areas which cater for large events. Small events will be carefully created, confidential and bespoke for members only. We are committed to being respectful of our residential neighbors. The design team are working with an acoustician to ensure that soundproofing measures are incorporated into the club to ensure quiet coexistence. We also are committed to ensure that the club personnel liaise with neighbors with regards to trash collection and deliveries, discussing matters such as optimal timing to avoid congestion and make these activities as quiet as possible. The club will favor suppliers who use smaller, eco-friendly vehicles for deliveries. Drop-offs and collection will be managed to ensure no queuing or loitering, and smoking will be prohibited in front of the building. We envisage the hours of operation allowing for breakfast service and post-dinner socializing. Our club rules will maintain a restful ambiance for guests in suites. Staff will be reduced for the overnight hours, 24 hours a day. Next slide, please. So about the members, The members of 854 are a diverse and discerning group of individuals looking for a quiet place to be, away from the New York hustle and bustle. At the club, you'll find entrepreneurs, CEOs, artists, and innovators. We estimate that the majority of the members will be domestic, with international members also featuring. Members will be admitted gradually over time to ensure balanced membership and to maintain a suitable occupancy level so that the building never feels crowded. The total membership number will be determined as we monitor frequency of members' visits. Membership will be controlled to ensure the establishment remains private, relaxed, and quiet. The core value of our membership is privacy. It will drive the members' vote and admissions. About the guests, members will be permitted to sign in a limited number of guests, and non-members will not be able to take their space in the building for events. About the club rules, at 854, members will have to respect the residential nature of the area by adhering to the club rules regarding arrival and departure, noise levels, and general conduct when entering or leaving the premises. I'm gonna hand it over to Bob.
Yeah. This is our last bit. I should mention, we're not restoring all of the historic uses in the building. We are discontinuing the shooting gallery that they discovered in the basement. And we are also disassembling the Faraday cage that was on one of the upper floors. But in closing, we do think this is a very appropriate use of the 74-711 special permit. It will facilitate the restoration and continuing maintenance of a highly significant individual landmark and building in the historic district. The use in the rear yard waiver will have little effect on the surrounding neighbor, and the ownership is committed to working with the neighbors to ensure that the club is operated in a respectful manner that is consistent with the residential character of the block. Finally, the use of the special permit at 854 Fifth Avenue will further the general goal of the Special Park Avenue Improvement District to preserve and protect the unique character and architectural quality of the residential part of Fifth Avenue and Park Avenue, which includes many landmarks and other cultural buildings. We would greatly appreciate the board's support of our application, and the team is happy to answer any questions.
You have a question?
I will, with a motion.
Okay. Wait, does anybody have a question before? I just wanna.
I have a question. I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have a sense of how much membership will cost?
I think Jessica, would you like to think that, has been established?
We haven't fully established the level at which the membership will be at the moment.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, we haven't yet established this. We are obviously a few years out from opening, but it will be on the upper side of the club memberships and the upper side.
So I would just like to say that I'm sure this is going to be absolutely beautiful for those people who are able to get inside. And while you have been extolling the benefits and the values of this proposal, your enthusiasm, I think, is a little bit lost, as the entirety of your audience cannot afford to be members of this club. So for that,
Yeah.
I will be abstaining.
Okay, I just want to make a point. Some of us did tour the space, and when we did, the suggestion was made that to state the obvious, the word exclusive was used a lot here tonight. And that the club would make itself open at various times during the year so that the general public could come in and see the splendor of the architecture and the beauty of the building during the Gilded Age. So, you can vote however you want. Alita?
And it has to do with that point, because talking to Open House New York, which I think is what you refer to, is not a permanent thing. So there needs to be, for me, a permanent openness to the space for the public, which is the exact opposite of exclusive and privacy, which is why I'm asking so specifically that there be an actual commitment to 2 or 3 or 4 times a year for the general public, not by necessarily by ticket, but by some mechanism, so people could see the space that to which you're dedicating so very much attention to detail, which I applaud. My other question is the deliveries, because if you're having food for some kind of event, no matter how little it is, it has to be delivered, garbage has to be picked up. While you talked about meeting with the neighbors and working with the neighbors, I'd like to hear a little bit more specifics about how the delivery is going to work. Fifth Avenue is crowded with buses and flights and cars and taxis and all of that business. Thank you.
So just, maybe Jessica can speak a little bit to the deliveries. You know, our conversations with Open House New York, and as you know, they run programs where they open interiors that are not normally accessible to the public, and they have
Once a year.
They
I
do.
volunteered for years to do that, and
So-
that's why.
Could you answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, right now, that is our commitment. It is possible that we can consider more frequent openings, but I would say also, if this were converted to a private dwelling, not only would you not have access to it, there would not be, I don't think, the kind of restoration that's being proposed.
Before we go to the board, is anyone from the public? I didn't see anybody, but I wanted to ask. Okay, Michelle?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. How high is the roof extension that you're doing?
It is, I don't remember the exact, but it's no higher than the existing extension.
Right. Oh, it's the same height.
It's the same height.
You're not extending the height.
No, when it's not going any higher, it's just, extending
In width or
in
depth?
width, depth, I guess. towards the-
Okay, how many members do you think you're gonna have?
At the moment, we're going to monitor that as and when we open the club and we start to let in members. We don't want this building to be overcrowded. The maximum number is below half of what legal occupancy
I
is.
can't hear you. The maximum number is below half of what?
The legal occupancy, so.
Which is
So legal occupancy is 320 people.
320?
Yes. And we're looking at a seated occupancy of less than half of that.
Okay.
So it will be a low number membership. We don't want this club to be overcrowded. So we don't envisage those 150 seats being full.
It seems to me that this is going to be a dining club. And as such, I'd like to know, you didn't speak about the venting of the kitchens, and also to Alita's point, I'd like to know about the deliveries, garbage, that kind of thing, because it will be a dining club. I have to say, I have of course, no objection to the restoration. I think it's beautiful inside and out. I think everybody is in agreement with that. My concern is the change of use. I'm not happy to have the bedroom accommodations, so, and the change of use. So, but at any rate, can you address the mechanics of the ventilation, the kitchens and the deliveries and the garbage?
Sure, we have a specific.
In a loud voice.
We have a specific kitchen ventilation, which goes up to the roof level, and this is filtered to make sure there's no smell or grease that would exit through that.
Is that part of your new construction?
That is part of our new construction. All of the MEP infrastructure will be brand new. It will be state of the art in terms of MEP equipment. It will all be heavily attenuated and screened as well at roof level for our neighbours. In terms of deliveries, we will look to coordinate that with trash pickups so that those are happening early morning when there's less traffic on Fifth Avenue to make sure there's no congestion.
So your service entrance for garbage and whatever is on Fifth Avenue as well? You have
Yes, we
have
no other access or egress to the building. It will all be through the front.
And your venting, there are higher buildings on either side of you, so when you vent your kitchen, where does that venting come in terms of where does it break out on the roof in terms of the imposition on the adjoining buildings?
So it comes at the rear core, which is where we're.
Can you show it on the slide?
You can tell me what slide to go through.
It would be one of the section slides.
I think you are.
Tom's gonna. Yeah, I think it's sure.
Oh, yeah. It's like two.
Here we go. This one.
That's all.
So where does that come from, the level for the adjoining building, of the abutting building? Yeah, but that's not. So that's somebody's apartment, okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Marco?
I would like to motion, the motion will be approved, and this is ready to speak. Anybody can say.
Second.
If we had, yeah, I had a
But
question.
she could be.
You want to, okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm unclear about the profile of this club, for example, is it a brand new club being existed, or is it a branch of another club? Who exactly are the target audience? It is a brand new club, we are still developing that concept. So things will evolve over the next few years. In terms of the target, that is also being developed too, alongside the whole strategy for the management of the club.
Okay, does anyone want to second Marco's motion?
I think it's a.
Okay, then go ahead and speak to your motion. So can we, like, move this along?
Okay, very quick. I think he's a good professional. I think he's very conceptually in the quality of the exhaust. I don't think we have a problem. And I think we have to prove our way, we move forward. Thank you.
Okay, Wilma in the back?
I didn't hear what
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
please vote on my second one.
Marco made a motion to
Yeah.
approve the project as presented.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Judy, call the question, okay? Call the roll. Well,
Oh, yeah.
we can have a commitment to allowing, a true commitment to allowing the public in at least once or twice a year.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, but did you hear that? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so, the motion is to approve as presented, but with a friendly amendment to commit to at least several visits a year by the general public. Okay?
Yes,
What?
You
You have to accept.
No, but.
Oh, but they accept it. I think.
We've certainly already committed to
Okay.
a single time, and we will consider.
Okay. All right, so, call the roll.
Yes.
Oh, well, is there, let's do it this way. Is there anyone who's gonna vote no?
We should
Oh,
call.
I'm gonna abstain.
Three.
Just three.
Okay.
So it's two no's and an abstention. And what about online?
No hands up online. Juno, just turn on your camera if you're gonna be voting on this item. We have Paul Prickler, Max Meyer, and Will Sanchez online right now.
Okay. All right, then Valerie, yes, which Valerie? Go ahead.
I missed the discussion, so I won't vote.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Sarah. Okay, then, the application is approved in the condition that we set forth. Okay, thank you very much for coming. I will say this, I think that 854 Fifth Avenue has listened to our discussion with the previous clubs that have come forward and maybe gave us a little bit too much detail, but they did answer a lot of the questions regarding traffic and all the other stuff. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. The next public hearing, which is a BSA Cal 450-46 BZ, so 41 East 62nd Street, Manhattan, block 1377, block 27, and the application is for an extension of term of a previously granted variance permitting commercial use as originally approved on July 23rd, 1946. I don't know if anybody was here then. And as amended with regard to the extension of the first floor on September 24th, 1946, and secondly, as a right addition for community facility use on March 1st, 2005, as amended on August 28th, 2006, and June 12th, 2014. Now, there may actually be some people in the room that were there for that. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, I believe you. This is a variance that was put in 1946. Just for context, it was the same week that Churchill, Stalin, and Truman met in Potsdam. So,
Isn't that monumental?
to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, I think this variance is much more durable than outstanding units as it turned out. You have the site there on forward, it's a small building on East 62nd Street, 41 East 62nd, between Madison and Park on the north side of the street. It's a block that is significantly mixed use. The Lynx Club is on that block, Ronnie School is on that block. The two buildings to the east have commercial variances, and the Colony Club extends deeply into that block on its side wall. So in 1946, the board granted a variance for the conversion of a former stable, for the Gary brothers, who were affiliated with the Harriman family. They used it as a commercial, as a family office for many years. Even back in 1946, use variances, this was a residential district, and use variances were granted for a term of 10 years. So since 1956, this project has come forward, this building has come forward over and over and over again for renewals of this variance. It expires now on November 24th. The building is pretty much unchanged from all that time. It is in the historic district. It's not an individual landmark. As built, it had about 5,900 square feet. It was 1.85 FAR for the site. That's what the variance was for 5,900 square feet of commercial space. In 1994, the building was added on in the back, but as of right uses, community facility uses for a not-for-profit. But still, the 59 square feet, the original 5,900 square feet needs to be renewed continually and has been renewed continually since first granted in 1946. That is really the upshot of it. You've seen it at least 5 times before, and nothing's changed.
Elizabeth? So this type of issue has come up a couple of times within the past year, and every time people say, well, we've done this for, 50 years. I think the point was that there was a reason that these variances were given for limited periods of time. And they were clearly all given at a moment in time when there was substantially excess residential space in New York City. You could not give large apartments away. And so many residential spaces were converted to commercial use or community facility use. But there's a reason these were not permanent variances. So while each individual one of these applications that comes before us is truly a drop in the bucket, what's clear is that this has been happening all over, and it's happened all over the Upper East Side, and we're gonna keep seeing these dribs and drabs of these things coming through. And we are now in a very different economic environment where we have tons of commercial space available and no residential space available. So even if this is Sisyphusian on my part, I am going to vote no, because there is a reason that these variances were given on short-term renewable bases, and we should reassess the use of residential zoned buildings for commercial uses.
Okay,
James?
Maybe this is already answered, but who is the applicant? Who owns the property?
The applicant is an LLC, which is on the property for approximately 25 years.
Do we know the name of the LLC?
The LLC is controlled by a organization called the Anderson Forbes.
You say that again, just.
The Anderson Forbes.
Thank you.
This, by the way, is currently on the market and it is currently vacant.
Okay, thank you.
All the more reason not to.
Okay.
Yeah, I respond to Elizabeth?
Sure.
Thank you. I can totally agree with everyone who wants, but this is not that. This building was a stable, a garage, it had no basement. It's not a residential use in the middle of the last century that I'm aware of. And I think the stable goes back to the late 1800s.
And there are beautiful blocks of former stables that are now residential.
This will not be, but there are no residential uses, there are no residents, simply stable, and then a garage. And then that's what the variance is, so if you granted for the conversion of stable to a garage. And if that is only granted, this beautiful building, this beautiful facade will probably be torn down. Because there's nothing protected.
Chuck?
I'd like to move to approve.
Second. Ed, did you want to say something after that?
Well, I just had a question for Shelley about real quick. Shelley, if you were, very quickly, if you were gonna use this building for apartments, how many could you get and how much would it cost to convert this former stable to apartments?
Well, the building is only 66 feet deep. So, it has been expanded to in the rear yard. For not-for-profit up to 23 feet, but there's no residential uses allowed back there. All that would have to come down, the rear yard would have to be reestablished. There's never been a rear yard there in the first place.
So it's quite cost.
So it would have to be a single family. I think actually a gentleman did buy it in the 1990s, a single family, spent a lot of money and abandoned it because it just didn't work.
Okay, we're on the motion now. Does anybody have Marco?
This is the first time that I'm gonna be in agreement with you. Let me explain you why.
Louder, Marco.
Let me explain you why. Because, the community board 8 is one of the densest community board in the city. So that means we have too many people already. And to maintain this kind of, the service, I think is perfectly fine. I don't find nothing wrong. It's true that these variants have some period of time that you have to accomplish and then you come and renew it. But in this case, our community is the largest community for not only in the city, not only in the country, but probably around the world. So we are very well dense community board. And this is why I think I'm going to support the application. Thank you.
Judy. All the questions. Thank
Second.
Okay, how many people are gonna be against? Is that an abstention or a no?
That's a no.
Okay, so anybody online who's against?
Yeah, if you're online and you're against this, give us an indication. Otherwise, the folks online right now are Elizabeth Ashby, Paul Crickler, Max, and Will Sanchez.
Okay. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you for your brevity
Thank
and
you.
your explanation. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? No. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great.
Commission is just.
Adoption of the minutes? Second? Okay, great, approved. Okay, so, chair's report. A couple of things. First I wanna welcome everyone back. I hope you had a great summer. Just a couple of things I wanted to note. Harry Gale already noted the hearing tomorrow on the resolution regarding, Elizabeth, if you want to talk to Shelley, can you just go outside? Thank you. Tomorrow's hearing on this resolution that was proposed by Julie Menon, we're gonna take that up in the Roosevelt Island Committee and give people from Roosevelt Island time to absorb it. I don't think that there were a lot of people who knew this was gonna come on to the agenda of the council that quickly. And so we'll proceed like we normally do. If there's a motion out of the Roosevelt Island Committee that wants to support the resolution, we will also have people who will be coming to the Roosevelt Island meeting, and we can hear all that and take the appropriate steps in due order. So I don't think that's gonna be a concern. I wanted to also update you on the status of City of Yes housing opportunity that is still with the City Planning Commission. My understanding is there's going to be a vote, I think it's September 24th or 25th. And then it will go to the council. I've been talking to Councilmembers Menon and Powers about having them, see where we are with that. Carol has, our resolution, and we'll be hopefully collaborating with our council people to see how that comes out. I'm sure you've all been following it. It is the hot topic besides, FBI investigations. As to where it's coming out. So, the other thing I wanted to say is a couple of our events that are coming up. Our art fair is this Saturday. I hope you will all come out. Our art committee and our staff has done an amazing job of promoting it and putting it together. And hopefully the weather will cooperate this time. It looks pretty good. So, that'll be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the James Cagney Plaza. So, I hope to see you all there. Next, on September 25th, sorry, I'm really bad with what day that is. Gail, what day is it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Our Women and Families Committee will be having an educational forum on the Equal Rights Amendment, the New York Equal Rights Amendment, which will be on the ballot as State Senator Liz Krueger mentioned. And I hope you will turn out for that. I do want to note that at the end of our last sort of session, we had gone down to Landmarks to talk about the building on East 62nd Street and sent them a letter asking them to send it back to us. Unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from Landmarks about that, but I did want to update everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the street fair. I visited and we all decided, at least the committee of 3 of us, that we need to up our street fair game. The Grays have a great table and it puts us to shame. And we should be more out there in terms of being more, I think, friendly to the community and inviting them to interact with us. So we're working on that. I want to thank people in advance who are going to man the tables on Sunday. And if you have any suggestions regarding that, you can see Addison or John. I appointed them, we had an open meeting at the table that day and I appointed them in charge of it. And then I wanted to say that, I don't want to leave out the fact that on Friday, we have CB8 Zooms with our former CB8 member and Manhattan Borough Parks Commissioner Tricia Memora. So if you can tune in, if you have questions about pickleball, that might be an opportunity to ask them. I don't know if she will, but you know, it is a hot topic. And then just a couple of other things. The pause is still in effect on congestion pricing, as we were saying. We're still waiting on an appointment of a new community board member to replace Amir Jafir, who moved actually. As you can tell, MSK is in progress. Yeah, if you do have any comments or want to discuss, Julie Menon's office is the appropriate place. Harry mentioned that negotiations are ongoing. And, you know, we're just waiting to see how that develops. We've been receiving a lot of inquiries regarding Lenox Hill Hospital and what they are doing. All I can tell you is that they made a filing with the City Planning Commission on July 29th. They then sent me an email introducing themselves to me. And I said, I'm happy to meet with you as soon as you want. I'm here all August. Well, it's September 18th and we're still waiting. So I don't know what their plan is. We're not holding back. We get a lot of inquiries from the community. I mentioned that to them. And I said, we're looking forward to engage with you. So as soon as I know something, you will know something. And then I just wanted to close with, I wanted to thank everyone who came to the 9/11 remembrance on 9/11. It was really a beautiful ceremony. And I encourage you all next year, I'm sure Howard will put it together again. I encourage you to show up. I wanted to just say thank you to all the community board members who did show up. It turned out to be a very lovely program. And we were entertained really by the Air Force Band, who sang a number of numbers, and we also had fabulous Grays there, and they are definitely a fan favorite. So I just want to thank everyone for their patience tonight. I know that some of the public hearings went a little bit longer than we might have liked, but let's move on, and I'll give it over to Will here for his report.
It is rare that news breaks so quickly between the chair's report and the district manager's report. But I got a phone call earlier today from the borough president's office, and Amir's vacancy has been filled effective tomorrow by Kimberly Selway. So you all. Well, I didn't know if you got a chance to talk to him, so I was like, oh shit.
That's great. I love it.
Um,
I'm glad it has such a good.
Yes. We're all excited to have her back, in the fall. She's not really left us, she was on landmarks, and so she'll be back, starting next month. So scheduling notes, that tomorrow's small business committee meeting has been rescheduled to their next, scheduled date in the quarterly cycle. We'll get you that date at a later point. Next week's zoning and development committee meeting has also been postponed until next month's meeting date. And then the Youth Education and Libraries Committee has also been postponed to its next quarterly date. Check back on that. Valerie said until 6 p.m. for the art show. What you were actually thinking is 4 p.m. But why you had 6 p.m. in your head is that we still are asking for volunteers from board members and folks in the public who would like to volunteer at the art show, either setting it up or taking it down towards the end of the day. So if you would like to volunteer and help out with that art show, please either reach out to Rose in our office, me, anybody, Alita, I'm sure would be happy to hear from you as well.
Very happy.
And we do still have some openings for the Sunday street fair, if you'd like to table that, especially the first morning shift. I know somebody out there will have coffee if you need to have it, that first morning shift. I don't think we have anybody yet. So if you'd like to volunteer for that, let Kevin know, let me know. You all received, and as soon as I'm done talking, you're gonna vote on selecting a new elections committee for this year. As part of that, as part of our bylaws, it asks you to see what everybody's committee memberships are. I would actually encourage you to look at your own name and see what is listed next to your name. If there's nothing listed, we would like you to join something. If there is something listed and it's inappropriate, if you left that committee or didn't ever join that committee, please just let us know so we can update our roles. Let us update our rosters with the most accurate count. We don't want a situation where quorum is in danger. So just let us know as soon as possible about that. And then finally, I'll close with encouraging you to go to the budget committee for they're not gonna give a report tonight, but I'll give it for them. They had a first meeting of their district needs statement. We put together a really great survey this year. We took the surveys of past and we really enhanced them in ways to get a lot of more granular detail. A lot of the responses that are required by the Department of City Planning and OMB are formulaic at best, and they get worse. And so what we try to do is drill in on what people really meant when they were selecting the options for the first and second and third pressing needs. Go in and look at, we put together a quick report. It's 3 or 4 pages. It will not take you long to read, but it really gets into what people are prioritizing and what people mean by what they're prioritizing. So I would encourage you just go look at the budget committee's minutes and their report in your packets and online, and really dive into that. And also, if you haven't filled out the survey yet, or if you haven't shared the survey with your friends yet, please fill it out, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your building super or whoever is gonna control the email list, and let's get that out there. We have a great number so far, but we'd really love to see it go. Thank you.
All right, so, just want to mention just one more thing. In October, we will have the voting reform task force meeting, and that will outline what the charter provisions are, and maybe we'll see Melissa Kruger on Zoom that night, figuring out what they are too. So it could be very exciting. Okay, so now we move to the elections committee. I think we've outlined how it works. I'll rely on our parliamentarian here to correct me when I'm wrong. But, so we have to elect 5 people, for the committee. And then at the end of the night, wherever those 5 are, we'll meet in the back or somewhere else and pick a chair. So nominations, Marco.
Michelle Wimba.
Michelle Verba. You're gonna make the list. Yeah, Peggy Rice. Okay, any, Michelle? Marco.
No, I decline.
Okay, okay, we only have 2. Anybody else? You can self-nominate here. Judy? Chuck? Warren? Okay. Alita? Anthony Cohen? Anthony, do you accept?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we're still 1 short.
I can take it.
Jane?
I'll nominate myself.
Okay, perfect. I love it. That's fine. Any other nominations?
Anybody
That's
from Zoom?
I'm sorry, I didn't need to leave the Zoom people out.
No, they're all. No, I.
They're all hiding on Zoom now? Everyone has their coffee cup. Okay, so we have 5 people. Any more nominations or we'll close the nominations. Wilma, I'm sorry. 5.
Oh.
Okay, so we have 5. Who are they again?
They are Michelle Birnbaum, Peggy Price, Chuck Warren, Anthony Cohn, and Jane Parshall.
Okay.
And none served last year, right?
None so.
No, we have the list right up here. That was Bill, Gail, Alita, Wilma, Rita, Robin, and Marco. No, that's one too many people there.
No,
You weren't, right? That doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So,
I didn't
ignore Marco.
write the email that I sent out, but that's okay. Okay, shall we do this again? Is anybody voting no on any of the names? Is it an election committee election by acclamation?
Yes.
Yes, super, love it. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along, we're going right to the transportation committee. Batter up.
Okay. Evening, everyone. We have 2 resolutions. I'll take the first one, the easiest one. It's item 3. It's the link 5D proposed sites, and they propose 5 sites. And 1712 York Avenue and 110 East 88th Street, 650 Madison Avenue, 510 East 71st Street. Then one location that we all got to kick out of across from 500 East 63rd Street. Now, 4 of them are without ads, and 1 of them could have ads. And just to put this in context, we had a resolution that we passed in 2022 opposing these things but asked for a moratorium until we got more information about them and until they really fulfilled what they were supposed to do to find out whether or not these were underserved areas, and also to, they had to undertake a few other things, which they have not done. We never got a response from, you'll do what they call something else, the Department of Technology. And so we passed a resolution disapproving all of those sites. And that was approved by 8 yes, 3 no's, and 2 abstentions. So I don't know whether someone who wants to comment on this, yes.
Yeah, I
Michelle.
would just add to our discussion that we had in the committee, that in fact, these sites have not really, these kiosks don't really do what they were proposed to do, which was originally to serve underserved areas, and the areas they're being proposed in, we are not getting any complaints of a lack of service. They are 32 feet high. There are a lot of health concerns about them. There are a lot of studies done. I had cited some in committee showing that these can be detrimental. And the fact is that has not as yet been explored. Also, not to be misconstrued, these do not serve interiors. These do not really bridge the digital divide. They solely offer service on the street. There needs to be many, many of them to even be efficient, because each tower, I think, only has like a distance of a couple of 100 feet. So anyway, I voted to disapprove, and I hope the full board will do that as well.
I just want to make one other comment. Some of these there's some of them within the historic district or near the historic district.
Right.
They were supposed to do some kind of review, and none of that.
Well, there's the 106 review, and
Right.
I'm a consulting party on that. And each of these sites you have to, that are affected or not even in a historic district, but within view of a historic district, consulting party has to submit testimony about a 106,
We haven't.
which some of us have done for other sites, but that's not the only reason. There are health concerns, and also in terms of usability, they're tremendous eyesores, and they're not necessarily serving a purpose.
Thank you, Marco.
If nobody wants to speak, I will let the call.
Sure.
Second.
Second, confused. Dozen seconds, okay. Can we call a roll, or I think there's some people who want to vote? Yeah.
Are you voting for or against this?
It was a disapproval.
Disapproval, resolution, disapproval. Proposed.
No, it's a disapproval.
So a yes means no.
Hold the question.
Yeah, the question's been called, so can we call roll, because we have some people asking.
Okay.
Anderson,
Different.
yes. Angelos,
Yeah.
Ashby,
Elizabeth, you can unmute. Pictures.
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
Abstain.
Camp,
Yes.
Chalasal,
Well,
Chu,
Yes.
Cone,
yes.
Coleman,
Yeah.
Cormac,
Yes.
Barber,
Abstain.
Helen Clark,
No.
Hartzog,
Yes.
Hershenson,
Yes.
Halpern,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Prickler,
No.
Later. No. Lev, no. Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Partial,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Price.
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Sassen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Seligson.
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Tamaya,
Yes.
Wald,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Weiner.
Yes.
All right, the resolution passes 33 yes, 4 noes, and 2 abstentions.
Great. It's item 4.
Yeah. So the next item is the one in regards to the MTA 2020 to 2024 capital plan. And just want to provide a little background leading into the breaking news from today and how that affects this whole discussion. So just a little bit of quick history here. So the MTA 2020 to 2024 plan was considered to be fully funded. That was until the governor announced the pause of congestion pricing, or the Central Business District Tolling Program as it's known. And then upon that pause being announced, it meant effectively that 16.5 billion of that $56 billion capital plan, 16 million of that funding was essentially removed from the plan. And to compensate for this shortfall, the MTA announced a package of projects that are to be deferred and delayed, or deferred or delayed, depending how you want to, during preferred nomenclature. And these deferred projects would have, if they were deferred, would have a significant impact both on a system-wide basis for the New York City transit system and within our community district, as they do involve a number of projects that hit close to home, ADA accessibility projects, including at the 59th Street subway complex, signal replacement along the F line, communication upgrades along the line stations in our district, the 2nd Avenue subway too, and a number of others. So to date, as a result of this, there's been no action that's been taken by the governor nor the state legislature to replace this funding shortfall that is no longer available to the MTA, and no concrete proposals have been put forward thus far. So flash ahead to today. So today, the MTA announced and issued its draft of the next capital plan. This is the 2025 to 2029 capital plan. And this is a $68.4 billion plan, but only $35 billion of that has funding that is currently identified. So it is not a fully funded plan. And I'm going to quote here directly from the capital plan. It states, and if you want to see it's on page 74 or 38 of the PDF, it says this document, meaning the 2025 to 29 plan, assumes that the 2020 to 2024 capital plan will be fully funded and implemented. This document also assumes that all projects listed in the 2020 to 2024 capital plan including those delayed due to the temporary pause in implementation of the Central Business District tolling program, will be fully funded and implemented as part of the 2020 to 2024 capital plan. So in other words, the projects that the MTA announced that they were deferring from the earlier plan are still unfunded, unless it can't be assumed that they will be able to be funded and completed through the next 2025 to 29. If that were the case, it wouldn't bode well for the transit system or the community district's interest in it, which led to this resolution. So the resolution itself is simply calling on the governor and state legislatures to fully fund the 2020 to 2024 capital plan, with the stipulation that it is not to be done through tax increases such as to the mobility payroll tax that would have an adverse impact to all New Yorkers if it were raised. And it was also included in there that it would not be done on the backs of Community District 8 through any additional for-hire vehicle surcharges, which are only imposed for those trips that occur within Community Districts 1 through 8. So let's start in the back, Sarah.
I have a question. Does the resolution in any way infer that congestion pricing or reviving congestion pricing is the manner for funding the capital plan?
No.
Well,
I think that's incorrect. What was her question?
Yeah.
No, that there's,
Tax is not a toll. What was the question? What was Sarah's
no,
question?
was it implying, the congestion price would be part of the mechanism?
Oh,
coming from the back, Russell.
So I have a question, I guess, because it seems to me that it's worded pretty broadly and it would include prohibiting raising taxes on billionaires, is that right? So if somebody said we should raise taxes on billionaires to pay for the MTA funding plan, that's prohibited by this resolution, right?
I guess technically, it would be.
That's my question.
All right, Ed.
Yeah, so what's left? I mean, and that's not to be snarky, but I mean, if you're taking out taxes and you're taking out the fees at the legislature, and the legislature has shown a political unwillingness to actually budget for this on a regular annual basis, what's left other than, as Sarah asked and Russell's pointed out, what's left other than congestion pricing?
Well, we're waiting for them to tell us, but the thing is, this is in essence almost a do something call to them. And it's making the case that it's the 2020 to 2024 plan that we need to focus on because of these projects. Regardless of how it is, and again, it is not, we're not saying here congestion pricing, this is agnostic of congestion pricing.
thank you. I'd like to propose two friendly amendments. One is that the legislator could consider a tax, a mansion tax, or a pied-à-terre tax, or an additional tax on high income, as Russell pointed out. And the second friendly amendment is that, what was this? Not so friendly.
I get that.
That there be accountability for the MTA, because their ability to control the cost of a project has been questioned, which is an understatement. And so there should be some kind of supervisory authority, despite what's in the state charter about that, whatever you call that group. They don't really supervise. There should be accountability and some kind of somebody will oversee that. I leave it to you to the language, if you accept it.
Throw that back to you. Well, I guess my question about accountability is in the congestion pricing task force, we have resolutions that deal with MTA accountability, so
Yeah, I think the accountability thing, I think we can accept it. I think that's an appropriate thing.
Yeah,
Not
we can
resolution.
figure out how to, I guess, make sure that it doesn't overlap.
Yeah.
You have one of the, sorry.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Paul.
Oh, Paul, yeah, Paul, quickly, yeah. Would you like to comment?
Evening all. I'd like to call the question.
Yeah, no, we're.
Hold that, Paul, let's have a fuller discussion.
Yeah, and we do have to make a determination on Alita's first one about.
Yeah, you said you wanted a tax on
It's not launching it, it's just opening.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Understand.
Would we want to,
Wow.
so I think,
It would be allowing.
What-
right?
what-
You're not
what was
calling- You're not
expected?
calling for it.
No, it's exempting those
So-
kinds of taxes from the overall prohibition of taxing New Yorkers.
so I guess the question is, because it's, I think people are concerned about the mobility payroll tax, because that would be the one that would hit everyone. Do we pull that out specifically and hit, and this way, if we're talking about billionaires, peer-to-chairs, rather than explicitly stating that, we're still having something where we give ourselves a little flexibility? I don't know, I'm just
I'd have
trying
to
to,
think about it, but just the idea that there are certain different categories of taxes and that some should be exempted from the
Yes.
idea of.
no, and, which is, sounds,
Yeah, I think that,
that.
Thank you.
Oh, no, that was answered.
okay, Michelle,
Move to table.
second. Is there a second? Okay, that's not debatable, so, you have to call roll on the motion table.
Anderson,
Yes.
Angeles,
Yes.
Ashby,
We lost her on Zoom.
Barron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
No.
Camp,
Yes.
Chalison. I lost her, Chu,
Yes.
Cone,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cormac,
Yes.
Barber,
Yes.
Alan Clark,
No.
Hartzog,
Yes.
Hershenson,
No.
Halpern,
No.
Hussein,
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
Prickler,
No,
Leader,
No.
Lev, abstain, Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Phillips,
No.
Hopper,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Rose,
Abstain.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Sassen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Seligson,
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Amaya,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
Warren,
No.
Weiner.
Yes.
All right, the tabling passes 27 yes, 9 no's, and 2 abstentions.
Okay, thank you very much. Streetlight, we have a guest presenter tonight. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's not even late. But Bill's here, yes?
Yeah.
Bill is here.
Bill's here.
Bill, I think it'd be helpful to have you up for the last piece because, the one that's gonna be full board. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We have had a lot of new things happening in streetlight because we have all these new, proposals for roadway and sidewalk dining under the new DOT regulations. But in the last month, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 unanimous approvals. We had 2 non-unanimous approvals and 1 in which we took no position because there wasn't sufficient information, I think, presented. That was one that I missed, that I think we're gonna do for the whole board. Ed?
I move that we take all 14 unanimous approvals together.
Second.
I'd like to address that. Was docks included in the 14?
Yeah.
Yes. Was that in August or this is just August?
Which one are you doing? This August?
Right now I'm looking at August.
Oh, yeah.
No, yes.
Oh, so that was it, unanimous?
Yeah.
The one that the lady spoke on?
Yeah.
That's next, no, that's where.
Next one. This is not August.
Oh,
But that's the one that was September,
That
or
was-
is that
that
the Brasserie Jacques in September, I think, yeah.
August.
Yeah. August has 14 unanimous.
oh, I don't know that.
Not including John's.
No, this is August.
Well, this is August.
Because we missed.
I was challenged. by
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Is that in the,
Yeah, both August and September are in sequential
Yes.
order, depending on the calendar.
Question?
Sounds good to me.
Is
Yeah, for
anybody
August.
gets to vote against the?
Or any of them cannabis?
No.
No, I'm not secretary, this one is someone else.
Okay, there's nobody voting against any of them, thank you, all right.
And then our two,
Here it is, okay.
yeah, August is right above September in the packet. We have two non-unanimous approvals, and I believe in both of them, they were, the first one was just an abstention that made it non-unanimous. PJ, I don't know if you have something you want to say on that one, or I think maybe you just showed up late to that.
Yes.
I think that's all it was. So for motion purposes, it's a unanimous.
Second.
I would like to go to pull out C, D, E out.
We're on
We're on one B right now. We're on one B on the non-unanimous approval, which was just an extension from PJ, just because he hadn't been in the meeting at that time.
This is the Omakazi U on 75th.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
No.
Is anyone voting against this one?
So we're pulling that out? What do you?
No, no.
It's not unanimous, but I think TJ is.
TJ wasn't in the room.
Yes.
Or, I'm sorry,
He joined in the middle of the conversation and abstained, that's all.
sorry.
So otherwise it is unanimous.
So what are we doing with that?
We're voting on it. Voting down.
It's unanimous approval, let's keep going.
Okay, great. So then there's one other non-unanimous approval, which is 4J, and this is the First Avenue Persian Grill. Doing business as Ravag Persian Grill, and this was one where it was a 9-1-0, and Marco voted no on this one.
No, G, you can include it.
J.
J.
Yeah, you can include it.
Okay, so now
All of it.
Hold a second. It's happening.
sounds good, right? Okay, so is anyone gonna oppose this one? Okay. And then we took no position on 5A, which if I recall, this is the cannabis one where they like, we had a
Appleseed?
split. It was a 4-4.
So can you summarize the pros and the cons?
Say something?
Yeah, you can say something. Were you there?
Move to disapprove.
Second.
Well,
Maybe we'll say. Hold on. Yeah, maybe we'll say a little louder. Here's the challenge with this application. This was an applicant going to take over a space that had a few legal actions against it for illicitly selling cannabis when it didn't have a permit to do that. It was like a CBD shop that was selling cannabis. There was a non-prosecution agreement, at least one non-prosecution agreement that the Manhattan District Attorney had with this entity. The new cannabis, Appleseed, was not going to be owned by the person who owned that space, but was going to be owned by his brother, who also lives with him. And so there were concerns that we didn't want to approve these sorts of applicants, and that's how that sort of debate went down, but it was a 4-4.
So my resolution, I stand by it. I'd like to move to disapprove this.
And the second.
Okay, that sounds fine with me. Does anyone want to call the question? Okay, so I don't know if we're going to take a roll call vote on this. There were 4 people who did vote to approve it in the meeting. Okay, so I think let's take roll. Want to go?
So it's a disapproval.
So yes is a no.
Yes. Okay. Anderson. Yes. Angelos.
Yes.
Is Ashby there?
I do not see her.
Voting yes means you disapprove.
Correct.
Correct.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, Baron,
Yes.
Berger,
Yes.
Forrest,
No.
Camp,
Yes.
Calisone is not here, right? Is Gino here or?
Gino's not.
Sure, okay. Chu,
Yes.
Cone. Yes. Coleman.
Yeah.
Cornell,
Yes.
Barbara. Please.
Oh, yes.
Alan Clark.
Yes.
Hartzell.
Pass.
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 Okay. Christensen.
Yes.
Halpern.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Crickler.
Yes.
Later, yes. Webb.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
McClemens.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Hopper.
Yes.
Price.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Sanchez. Is Will there?
It's right there. Yeah, he's right. It's.
Yes.
It's in it.
Gaston.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Phillipson. Squire.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Tamayo.
Yeah.
Wald.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Weiner.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, so let's move on to September.
Oh, before we move on, were there points that you guys are gonna put into a resolution? Because we can't just say we disapprove for no reason, so.
If we go back to it, did we have points made?
No,
On this one? No,
because
okay.
it was just a blanket statement.
Oh, because it was a no
Yeah.
position, okay, we can wordsmith some reasons not to do it.
As long as they're okay with me doing it, totally. I just wanna make sure that we put actual reasons into it. Once the OCM is not gonna listen.
Okay, you know what, that seems fine, I think that's something that maybe Abraham and I will go back to the transcript of what happened in that discussion, say, here are the things that people brought up. That feels like a reasonable way to do that.
The relationship sounds like I or Jim Beaver.
Yeah, and that was all brought up in the meeting, so we can go back and
We
see what
trust
that
you to
was.
do the weird.
Okay, thanks. I'll do my
I'm
best.
sorry, Ed, you cast, can we have your vote, please?
Abstain.
Okay, thanks for saying that, Will. To September. In September, we had 11 unanimous approvals. We had 2 non-unanimous approvals, and we had 1 that I think Bill should talk about because I wasn't at that part of the meeting.
Call the question on the unanimous.
That's
the job.
Oh, you want to talk about jobs? You want?
Pull out the C, D, and E.
Okay, so right now we had 1 through F, we're unanimous, and you're saying we want 1 C, which is Yucca.
No.
No, you're talking about section 4.
I'm talking about section 4, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. But 4D wasn't that unanimous approval. You want to pull 4D out of unanimous.
But I'm talking about the 4th point. I'm not talking the number.
No, but Jocks is 4D.
That's the
one. Yeah. That's the one we want to pull out.
Okay.
Okay, so let's pull that out and consider all the other 10 unanimous ones.
We're only out for D or E?
D.
D is the
So it has to be C, D, and E.
Well, those, C was not unanimous anyhow. C was not unanimous.
D was unanimous.
But we're pulling that out.
D was unanimous, we're pulling it out, and E was the one that we didn't take a position on because they didn't have, yes, so that's not in this set.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so the 10 unanimous ones, we're doing, we agree.
Call the question.
So I think everybody's in agreement.
Second.
Anybody gonna vote no?
Okay, so in the non-unanimous approvals then, and one that we're pulling out, we have 4B, 4C, and 4D. 4B,
You can include that, and I think I was myself in that.
4B was Captain Bowl, doing business as Home Kitchen, and yeah, Mark, but you were the one who voted.
Yeah,
no.
no.
Okay, so now
That's what I
that's,
called the 3 numbers, D, D, and E.
yes, but, okay,
You
but,
said to pull them out. We said to pull them out.
yes,
These 3, yes.
Okay.
however,
So,
No, right.
you're yes or no?
he was a no on 4B in the committee, but he is now saying he's a yes, which means that it would be unanimous. So for 4B, can we do that one?
Call the question.
Yeah.
It was called out before,
But we're putting it back in.
we're essentially saying it's unanimous.
Yes, we are saying that this is now unanimous. Okay, what we're voting yes on 4B is a approval for Cap and Bowl doing business as Home Kitchen. They have an application for a sidewalk cafe that's gonna have 8 tables and 17 chairs. Marco originally voted no. It is now sounding like he is saying he would have approved. And so it is unanimous in the committee. As far as fine with me, but part of the unanimous vote.
We can be part of the unanimous vote, so long as no one here disapproves it. So if no one else disapproves it, we can just
So
conclude
it's
that.
part of the unanimous.
Yes.
Okay, great. So now we're into 4C. 4C, this was also an outdoor roadwalk sidewalk cafe with 6 tables and 12 chairs. And Marco, this is one that you voted against. It was non-unanimous from the beginning. It was a 8-1 here.
Right.
Right.
This is Lago.
Yes, this is Lago.
Okay, Lago, okay.
So I vote no, because in reviewing the pictures and the drawings of this application, it has just only right now 4 tables and 8 chairs. And in the same space, without no scale, without no justification, that this applicant is putting now 6 chairs, 6 tables and 12 chairs. So it's something wrong in that part. And this is why I prefer that all the applicants sign an agreement that says that they are going to comply with the rules of DOT. And DOT will be the institution that actually supervise if it is correct or incorrect. I'm trying to bring the point is, if somebody else wanna take more than anybody else, I think it's unfair. John Phillips, he removed many chairs and many tables because he wants to comply with the law. And I think in this case, he is not in compliance, and this is what I vote no, unless he's coming to the original number.
On this, maybe John, you can speak to it, because you were a yes on this.
So I actually agree with Marco, and I voted yes because I saw his drawings do not fall in the purview of the existing law. And so if he does what he says he's gonna do with it, what he says he's gonna do falls within the frame of what he's allowed to do. However, if he oversteps that, he puts himself next to a Siamese sprinkler head, which would make it illegal. And so this becomes a matter of New York City enforcing the laws as per the application, which I believe they're gonna do, because they've done that from COVID up until now. He would be fined, and if he's fined a number of times, I'm sure there's some process for his license getting revoked. But Marco's concern is correct. I mean, restaurant guys have a tendency to take more than they do. So, like that.
Okay.
I'm still voting yes. I mean, because the city will then deal with it if they decide to get.
Point of information.
Yeah.
We get drawings on all of these, so we see the layouts.
Okay, so in the committee, we do, there is not a standard that says this is the way that your survey has to look. So some of them are better than others. Some of them are hand drawn where they're like, here's the scale that I'm doing. Some of them they've had an outside company come and like do a nice rendering. Marco has made it very clear that he prefers them to do the big survey, get a nice rendering. What we have heard from the people who run these businesses is that that's quite costly and they're having to adjust to a lot of things. So they're doing their best to say here's the 8 feet that we have to give, or here's the 10 feet that we have to give. It varies, but we do get to see these.
And they're posted on the website.
And you get to see them then too, yeah.
Can I speak a little bit more about that? It happens that is a professional architect that he probably didn't put the dimensions. And basically it made me feel uncomfortable that he knows very well the rules, 100% drawings. And not only that, on his application on others, he tried to hide an sidewalk cafe. And he knows very well what he's doing. I think he's not working properly, and I don't want to accuse of anything more about him.
Okay.
Let's go here. Yeah.
I've been at many of these meetings and I've heard Marco raise the point that he wants a separate document signed
And a lot of the expediters and lawyers that represent these people say there's no need. And both you, Lindsay, and Abraham have asked the client, will they obey the law? And that's what we want them to obey the law, and they have all agreed to that. So I see no reason to vote no. If the client is saying that he will obey all the rules and laws that are set out for his permit.
That is a faithful representation of what happens in meetings. We're asking them to stipulate, will you obey the DOT laws on this? Which is kind of like, yes, you have to do this, and he did not say no.
No, he said no.
No,
He
he
said
did
no,
not.
he's not going to accept this, the stipulation. That's what he said.
I don't believe he said
Yes.
no.
Check the
You
record.
say you said no? Okay, so we can go to that,
I believe the architect said no to the additional stipulation.
That's correct.
They said no
In writing.
the document that
The architect
Marco
said no.
asked for.
Okay.
They did not say no to five.
And
I think-
it's
I
always
think
the
that
same
is
architect
actually
too,
how-
so he's just being colorful, right? So like, I mean, we could read between.
Yeah.
I
didn't-
Talking and David has the floor.
Information. The rules are that you have to provide the drawings and show the dimensions. So why do we accept anything based on what they say as opposed to what they present and commit to?
They do show them.
Well,
We do
so
have
far,
them.
I've been hearing about stipulations.
No, everyone agrees that they've seen these documents.
Let me add to this, so he showed two renderings, one of them was from before, and that was not in code.
Correct, and I thought that was pointed.
He showed the current one, which is within code, and the point that I was trying to make is, if he decides to revert back to where he was, we have New York City, who presumably will be checking on this.
Jack had a question.
Our approval is for 17 chairs. Our issue here is that that the drawing is for 6 or 8. It's not about the number of chairs.
I'm sorry, what is, you're saying that the
I'm
number
saying,
is
what is
not what was rendered to us?
Yeah, that's the issue.
There was a discrepancy in the application and what happened in the meeting.
Got it.
Another point of information.
David and Russell.
There's a difference between a rendering and a dimension drawing. Rendering is a picture. Dimension drawing tells you how far you are from a hydrant, how far you are from a manhole, so on down the line. They're required to provide dimension drawing. We should not prove anything without a dimension drawing.
Because they did.
I think we did.
So did he have a dimension drawing?
They do, they are of different qualities though.
No, I don't think New York City requires that.
I don't think New York City requires it
Actually,
either.
yeah,
I'm waiting for you
so-
to figure this out
New
too.
York City requires it, read what's required, you go into Google and you.
No, but Will, you want to
Yeah.
talk about the email
No,
from?
no, so what the DOT actually requires is a site plan of the dimensions, not of the number of tables or chairs that they're actually going to include in their cafe.
Now, you can if you want.
You can if you want to.
That is not
But the-
totally true.
The
because
bare minimum that the DOT requires for these outdoor dining cafes is to show us the dimensional space that they're going to be using for the cafe.
With a refinement. If you have to show that you have a 3-foot minimum dimension for waiters and waitresses.
Yes, I mean,
And in order to show
Those
that,
types of
you've
things,
got to
yeah.
show the tables.
We can make that argument. I think it's something that we've been talking about, but there's new pushback that's coming to us. That says we can't require that, but,
well,
or it's not our minimum.
I think we're
I'll have
gonna
a
have a
conversation.
meeting
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
we're gonna have we've been contacted by outside counsel for some of the restaurants that we're requiring things that are not required by the actual regulations and law. And that we're asking for things that are not required. So we are
that's
going
fine,
to
that's
be.
in our purview.
Yeah, we can do that. Yes, we can
That's
do
not
that.
illegal.
I'm not saying it's illegal, but if somebody has asked us about that, so we are gonna take all this feedback and see if we need to refine what we're asking for and see and make sure that A, they're delivering what they're supposed to deliver to us, and B, if we are requiring additional items, what they are and why we're doing it.
Well,
So-
But for the purposes of this item tonight and this vote, can we just put it in saying as stipulated by law and enforced by law? I mean, just to
Can't
cover
we-
this.
Can we cover the
They agreed
rendering that they
to
gave us and just say that we're approving it based on whatever drawing it was, not the old one, and that if
But if
it's.
it doesn't show the 3 feet clearance for wait staff, if it doesn't show that, we don't know if it's legal. Why don't we just say
I
if it
think-
meets legal requirements?
But I think Lindsay is telling you that when she asked them whether they were gonna do it in requirement of law, they said yes, so.
Yeah, but why don't we have that in the
They said no
resolution?
to parts, but yes, that they'll be within the law.
Well, why don't we put that in the resolution? Then we know what we're.
Sure, I mean, if we wanna do a resolution to approve that has an additional piece that says, and is within all this.
Information, is there a drawing that shows that?
Drawings are not required.
You have it?
It's, I have a
Yeah,
website up that's clearly
I'm-
says drawings are not
I
required.
read what's in the.
Yeah,
It's published. And they show you the required dimensions. You have to show that you meet those dimensions.
Yeah, but
I think you're gonna find this one not terribly impressive relative
this
to.
is a
Yeah.
draw.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking at,
It's not
I'm
like
looking
a real
at C right
Because right here, drawings are not required by to be developed by an architect, oh, not to be developed by an architect or other.
An architect, but you still have to do the drawing and show the dimension.
There are dimensions in the drawing.
They are.
Yeah, no, I apologize.
Call the question.
Okay, there's a call question on.
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded.
Okay,
So what's the story,
what's the
guys?
motion on the floor?
The motion is approved.
Fine, what people are
Can we,
voting on.
We can do to
friendly
approve
amendment?
and this, and will adhere to all DOT regulations
Right.
on distances of
Second.
water. That's already in there. That is already in there,
Okay.
but
Call the
we can
roll.
say-
Voting
we
against
can
it?
try or something, like, double check. I have a thing.
Point of information, just to get our facts straight, just about like the things, just to be clear, it seems like you don't need to submit a.
Wait, let's know, we're not talking about it, we're calling the
This is
roll
about
now.
this moment in time.
Okay, so, all in favor, is there anyone going to vote against this approval? Marco's gonna vote no, so everyone
And
else.
it looks like,
I'm
no.
sorry, you're free.
Maybe just call it.
Just go through it.
Anderson, no. Angelos,
Since you approved.
That is.
Yes, this is to approve.
Barron,
No.
Birnbaum,
Oh, I think you skipped Ashby.
oh, is he back? Okay,
Yeah.
Ashby,
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes, providing that legal line.
No, it is, okay.
Moritz,
Yes.
Camp,
Yes.
Chip,
Sarah? Sorry. Yes or no? Yes, okay.
Cone,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cormac, Lindsay,
Lindsay?
Yes.
the Farber,
Yes.
Helen Clark, Hartsog,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Helper,
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Prickler,
Yes.
Later,
Yes.
Lev, yes, Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Marshall,
No.
Phillips,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Sassen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Seligson, Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Tamaya,
No.
Wall,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Weiner.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had a passing.
Yes.
Point of information, I'm making up for 10 years of not asking points of information. Do they provide us with a copy of their application? Because on the application, there's actually an area to put in the drawing.
Yes,
It's
yes.
there.
And that
And
drawing
it's in
is
the
there.
committee meeting, that's what we have in front of us.
So you get the application and you get the drawing in the application.
Yes,
It's supposed to have dimensions.
correct.
Right.
Okay.
What point of information, can I just read from the requirements that we're all clear and
We have two more, we do have in committee, we have two more non-unanimous ones. But Bill is gonna take over because I was not at this part of the meeting.
Lucky Bill.
Well, thank you for taking this from the transportation committee.
So two is not unanimous for B and for C.
No, we're
Where are we going?
B
I need.
We need to do D dot. We just did B and C.
C, I need.
Yeah.
Can we use the names?
D is Jacques Brasserie.
Okay, thank you.
And E is
this book.
Okay.
Jacques Brasserie.
I thought that, so D, we're doing it now, is it? I
Yes,
thought it was
yeah,
gonna be
that's
unanimous.
exactly what we're doing.
No,
We're
we
doing
pulled
jobs.
it.
We pulled it out because Robin wants to say something on it, and I think it's not unanimous now.
Right.
It's not unanimous now. So D got pulled out earlier.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, so who wants to talk about it then?
Robin.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. What, the fellow that represented Jacques at the meeting said that he didn't have time to put the signs up. So the neighborhood did not know that they were coming up for their vote that evening. Now, I just listened earlier in the evening, we had in the public part, we had two or three, not you. Oh, we had two or three neighbors that said they didn't see signs, they were not able to participate in our meeting, which they didn't. And there's vermin and dirt and all kinds of nefarious animals wiggling around there. And they wanted to make us up to date on that. So I think that deserves our attention.
If there's no notice, that.
Motion to table.
So wait, actually, before you do that, these do have a tight
Yes.
30-day time. That is actually the reason why we had a streetlight meeting in August. So the DOT needs to hear it from us, or they're not gonna listen if we don't respond in that 30-day period.
Right,
Okay.
so.
So, okay, move to disapprove. Yeah.
So
Second.
the deadline for responding is the 25th of September
Right.
for this.
Does anybody want to call the question or?
No.
They were valid.
There's actually something I want to say on this point that I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So
I'm
Jacques,
sorry, you're ready.
Jacques is actually a little bit of pitfall. Now, that block, when we were finding all those rat nests, were literally on the corner of that block, and that block is notorious for rats. Now, Jacques has been around for a very long time. Are they the most clean outdoor cafe? No. And do they store stuff in their outdoor cafe? Yes, that shouldn't be. According to the new laws, they're not supposed to be able to do that, and their outdoor space is going to be severely cut in half because of the new laws. I mean, I vote yes, and I'll just explain my logic, because, you know, should he have a fair shot at having a right-sized outdoor cafe? I think so. The rat problem on that block, where he's causing it, no, I think he's more a victim of it than anything else, because a lot of people on that block do complain of like serious rat infestations. So as a board, what do we do here? I mean, we can vote no, but is it all his fault? I mean, is the city gonna step in and actually enforce the laws that they're supposed to? It's tough.
John, with respect, I don't think the question seems to be, are the rats his fault or not? It is, did you post the meeting notice? That seems to be.
You can't do anything about that.
So they did not post the meeting notice in advance of the committee. They did post meeting notice in advance of this meeting, which is reflected in that we did hear from you.
Right, oh, no.
So Tuesday was the day of the meeting. We got them the flyers on Wednesday. We got them back the next day or so.
Sorry, wait, I don't understand what that means.
So they did not flyer for the committee meeting. We gave them a flyer to post that directed the public to come to this meeting if they wanted to speak
Right, but
about
the
that.
question was, when did they post for this meeting?
The day after.
That's-
Basically the day after our streetlight committee meeting, so last week.
Still move to disapprove.
That was September tenth.
It was last Tuesday, and then it sounds like they're gonna Wednesday.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Okay.
So it was.
Hold on, let's,
Simply, an outdoor cafe, outdoor seating is not a right just because you own a restaurant. It is a privilege. And if we think that that this particular restaurateur is less than a stellar citizen in terms of his community relations, now we can in fact say that
by voting to disapprove.
Right.
We're not taking something away from him that is his, we are denying him a privilege.
I agree with that, but I don't think that's fully the case here, so.
Well,
Jacques
let's
didn't
just
have all-
vote.
It will learn him to do better.
The question was called.
I mean, usually we have the committee. The question
Bill
is
just
called.
said, let's do a roll call.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, can we
Anderson.
clarify what
And
we're
it's the
voting on?
Motion to disapprove
Disapproval.
of Jacques Brasseries application for outdoor dining.
It's a disapproval.
It's a disapproval.
So no means
So
yes.
no means yes, okay.
And the why will be the not
You'll
firing.
put it in the where for.
Yeah, for not,
There's not people talking at once and nobody's saying anything.
All right, Anderson,
Can you please review what we're voting on?
it is a disapproval of
Jobs.
Jocks, the application for outdoor dining.
Roadway cafe.
Roadway cafe.
Wilma?
All right,
I was trying to find out, is Jock's only restaurant on that block? And why is he, being, disapproved and the main problem is at the end of the block?
I don't, I
And
don't
the-
think the disapproval is the rats. It seems like the
But the rest of the
disapproval.
whole block.
Listen, we're voting now. We're voting now.
The disapproval is on the flyering issue of not posting.
I don't
So
think
what
that's what I'm hearing.
Oh, no.
all right, it,
Firing and rats?
For any reason.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, let's take the vote. Anderson,
No.
Angelos.
Yes.
Ashby,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
No.
Camp,
Yes.
Charla Song is not here, Chu,
No.
Cone,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cormac,
No.
Barber,
No.
Alan Clark,
No.
Hartzell,
Yes.
Hershenson,
No.
Halpern,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Johnson,
No.
Prickler,
No,
later no, Lev,
No.
Mason,
Yes.
McClement,
Yes.
Meyer,
Sorry, Meyer.
No.
Marshall,
Yeah.
Phillips,
No.
Hopper,
Yeah.
Price,
No.
Rose,
Abstain.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Sassen, Schneider,
No.
Seligson,
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
No.
Tamayo,
Yes.
Wald,
Abstain.
Warren,
No.
Weiner.
Abstain.
So that motion fails.
Okay, so then we have on a motion to approve.
Wait, okay, Angelos is changing to no, let me just announce the votes. So the vote was 17 yes, 20 no, 2 abstain.
Then call the question on a motion to approve.
Second.
All
Is there
right,
anyone who's gonna change their vote from that to the motion to approve? Then I think it might be okay for us to transpose all those
well,
votes.
are those who abstained for the first vote going to, again abstain, that's where we get in trouble.
Yes.
Okay, if no one's gonna change, can we just flip that?
Yeah, you can flip it.
Okay,
Yes,
last one.
Just say what the flip is though. So what's the vote in favor?
The vote in favor is 20 yes, 17 no, and 2 abstentions, so the resolution passes.
The final one, I believe for tonight, is 4E. Which had some issues.
Okay, can you say the name again? Restaurant, please?
Sorry, I keep not doing that. Bar Italia, the applicant.
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
In Bar Italia. The applying for an outdoor sidewalk and keyboard cafe.
8 tables, 16 chairs. We initially approved the application, but we found out that only, after we approved it, the resource application was incomplete, not submitted. So we decided to put over for the board, for the full vote, till pending that they submit the application. And I've been informed that it has been submitted.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, please say it.
Your resource application has been submitted.
I think we submitted
But
the
this means
application
nothing
again,
for
it
the
should,
application.
you should have everything, actually, because we submitted the two restaurants, Lago and Bar Italia, at the very same time.
Yeah.
Same time, and they are fully,
So Will, today John said that full application
Yes,
is now.
we have received everything from every applicant,
Yeah.
including that they applied in advance of this meeting.
And
They did
that
not.
wasn't true last Tuesday,
Yeah.
but it is true now.
yes, yes.
But the committee hasn't seen it. Nobody has seen this application.
What is it?
What was missing in the agenda? What was missing from the original? Look, I'll admit it's not my committee that.
That's right. Bill was there. I was not there.
Okay.
Marco was there.
But did they submit anything?
No, at that time,
So there's
they
nothing
claimed they
submitted in
didn't
advance.
receive anything from the applicant. No. And that's when we didn't have no position in that.
Wait, can you talk?
No, because they have 30 days.
Bill.
no?
Hold on, Don was there too.
So I was at that meeting. There was 1 or 2 pictures that were provided. There was very little detail. It was impossible to make a determination.
So are we laying it over then?
What's, I thought, what I heard is we were gonna make the decision today as a full committee.
No,
and then,
no.
well, it has been submitted now in the application.
Yeah. Okay, so what was
It was
missing?
submitted to John Kraus,
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
it's fine. You did send it to the right person, don't worry. The question was, what was it that the committee and the board needed to see?
They didn't
that
see anything.
Well, technically, they did see the application that was referred to us by the DOT, so that we did see a site plan. We did see a site plan, and we did see.
At the committee meeting, it was suggested by one committee member, that we put over to this full board committee.
Oh, no.
Pending this committee application.
But somebody has to see it.
Did they understand that?
Point of information.
Point of it. Go ahead. I mean, Bill, come on, we got 10 people here. Let's go. We
Point
have
of information. If an applicant submits an application, the community board does not take action within the 30-day timeline. Can the applicant submit a new application a month later?
So they could withdraw their application from the DOT. The good thing is that the DOT will hold public hearings for anything that we disapprove or we encourage them to hold a hearing on. So we pass a resolution saying that the DOT should hold a hearing on this item because one reason or another, we can make that request to the DOT to hold a public hearing as well.
I mean, I would rather that we request that the applicant withdraw the application and resubmit and appear at the next committee meeting.
Yeah, we're sorry,
You
related to
can't do
that.
that. There was a deadline to apply for it.
Yeah, no,
If they
it is.
withdraw it, they can't apply for another.
So the only
Well,
thing.
that was my point of information. I thought I was told, yes, they could simply reapply.
The public goes forward, we can testify at the public, we can ask for a public hearing and then somebody can go forward.
So
If people, Valerie, if people want to know more, the applicant is here.
I think that's not fair to anybody.
Will,
Yeah.
I think the idea that Will has about encouraging the DOT to have a hearing on this, and whether we want to say we approve or disapprove, seems like a middle ground. We could say we disapprove and we want the DOT to have a hearing. We could say we approve and we want the DOT to have a hearing. I was not at this meeting. It seems as though it was approved based on the small amount of information that we had. The applicant did try to remedy these things by sending them the full application to us. We haven't seen it yet, but those are.
And my understanding was that the committee had seen the necessary documents to see the site plan. That what the committee was missing was the affidavit and the proof of posting. And those two things are in compliance with all of our regulations. And that I didn't need to turn those over to everybody to see a document that looks exactly like every affidavit. So that was my misunderstanding, if it was a misunderstanding, but there's nothing else that we asked for that is in addition to the site plans that are provided by the DOT.
So you're
in the
saying you
application.
saw it,
I have not personally seen it, John saw it,
John saw
but
it.
yes,
Oh.
the office saw
the office saw it.
it, yes.
Is that the only thing?
And my understanding was just the affidavit and the
And
proof of
posting.
posting, and those were in compliance. There's nothing else that we asked for in addition to what's in the DOT application
Okay.
that would be
Move
meeting.
to
Second.
Second.
Call the question.
Call a question.
Okay. Well, what is the motion? Motion is to approve.
To approve and encourage the DOT to have.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Point of information, is the site plan that you saw, does that meet the requirements of the DOT?
It's exactly the same as the other, the application that we discussed. The rule. That's not a point of information. The question.
Okay, motion to approve, let's do this, one of you.
So call the roll.
All right, is anyone voting no on this? All right, I'll take the roll. Anderson,
Yes.
Angelos,
Yes.
Ashby,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
Yes.
Camp,
No.
two,
Yes.
Cone,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Cormac,
Yes.
Barber. Helen Clark,
Yes.
Herzog,
Yes.
Hershenson,
Yeah.
Halpern,
No.
Hussein,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Strickler,
Paul?
He's not here, sorry.
Okay.
Later,
Yes.
Lev, yes, Mason,
Same.
McClement,
Yeah.
Meyer,
Yes.
Marshall,
No.
Phillips, Hopper,
No.
Price,
Yes.
Rose,
No.
Sanchez,
Sanchez?
Yes.
Sassman,
Yes.
Snyder, Seligson,
Yes.
Squire,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Kamaya.
No.
Wald,
Say.
Warren,
Yeah.
and Wiener.
Jerry, you can unmute, is she still there? I see it up over here.
Okay, the motion passes 27 yes, 6 no's, 3 abstentions and chairs no.
Okay, thank you. Landmarks Committee.
Can I just, point of information, and sorry, John, to put you on the spot. Should you be not voting for cause for the one that you're,
Yes, so I was
Establishment?
gonna let someone know at the end, I did not vote it.
Thank you, John. Thank you, gentlemen. Go
We
ahead.
will go through these very quickly. There are two unanimous approvals, but we do think that you should at least see what we've seen. And back there. Okay, the first one is 116 78th Street. We will alternate.
Sorry, John. Keep this.
Okay. This is actually a request to legalize the rear yard, showing you a photograph of the building itself, townhouse, and let's go to the next. The issue is that under the landmarks requirements, you're supposed to leave 5 feet in the rear yard, at the rear of the rear yard to be available for planting.
No. Absolutely.
And you will see within that red square that they have fully excavated the rear yard. However, this is a series of amendments and approvals that have been going on for quite a few years. And the Landmarks Commission did approve a full excavation of the rear yard in the past. And then for this particular situation, because of COVID, it looks like although they had a building department permit, somehow the approval at Landmarks did not get processed. So we now, after the fact, are processing this approval. Can we, at least we're recommending it, we process that Landmarks approve it. Can you go to the next, please? And this shows you the, in the middle is the rear yard, that we're talking about, either side of the existing rear yards, neither of them actually have the 5 feet that's required. And neither of the neighbors want to disapprove. They would like to see this approved by landmarks. So basically, although this was not unanimous, it was an approval. So I need a motion. Well, if I don't. Second. Anybody opposed? Okay.
Okay, great.
So we have a unanimous approval.
Oh,
No,
Just-
unanimous.
Unanimous.
Well, I will live along. Well, were you on the roll or is there just?
Well, how many people are opposed?
We're wasting more time not calling the roll.
How many people would oppose the approval? It's only 3 people, so let's go on to the next one.
Okay, you have all of them? Okay, next.
Okay, item number 2 is 980 Park Avenue, which is the St. Ignatius Loyola Church at the corner of 84th and Park. And it is a Renaissance Revival building designed by William Schickel and constructed between 1885 and 1900 in lots of different pieces along the Park Avenue block front and then down both 83rd and 84th Street. This particular application has 2 pieces. We can go to the first slide.
That's not it.
This is not it.
Sorry, I'm fixing something else.
Oh, okay. There we go. That is the church. There are 2 pieces to this. The first piece, which, and this was not unanimous, the first piece has to do with the 3 entry doors. The applicants were Atchison Doyle Architects, proposed to restore the bronze doors there, which are in the center. They're bronze doors and they're the outer doors. Those pull apart. They're pocket doors. They're incredible pocket doors. Except that one side doesn't work at all anymore, and the doors actually and so they have to be restored. The doors and their mechanisms will be restored. The next part of it pertains to the side doors and the inner door. And those are currently, there's the plan. So you can see the pocket doors there. And then the secondary doors behind, and then you also have doors to either side, one to the Lady Chapel in the south and the other is the
But
north.
you need the pictures of the side doors.
Yeah, we're good. And the idea is that these are the center doors, but and this is what we should talk about. The doors currently are bronze doors and they're kind of bizarre hinged and folding doors. The hinges have failed. The idea of the hinge and folding is so that you can get an opening the full width of the masonry so that they can in fact bring, coffins through on those occasions when there are funerals. And the proposal is to alter these doors and to alter them by in 2 ways. One is to reduce the size of the stiles of the rails and the stiles, the tops and bottoms and the sides, so as to increase visibility into the church from the street. The second part of the proposal is in fact to introduce some kind of what's called, it isn't really ballistic glazing, but what was the phrase that he used?
Secure glass.
Attack resistant glazing, which involves a ceramic frit in a kind of X pattern. You can sort of see it in the right hand picture. We tried not to have too many photos here. And so the question before us was, is it okay to reduce the size, the quantity of the bronze on the doors? And so that's this part. And then I'm just going to go through all of it, which is the other part. And this is also true of the side of the other doors. I'm going to get in everybody's way. Okay, so, all the doors, the side doors consist of just the hinged portions and look today like this. The proposal is that the side doors, Michelle, look like that. The idea again being to increase visibility into the church. And this is a reasonably common kind of solution to churches. St. Patrick's did this a number of years ago. And you can sort of see, you have to look closely, you can sort of see the kind of the frit, ceramic frit on the glass. So that was this portion. Let's see, I think that's the next one, item. And then the other piece of this, which has to do with their refuse management and the church hall activities generate enough garbage that they have problems with the new sanitation department rules about the enclosed bins rather than bags and stuff like that. And so they are proposing a grading at street level, and the idea is they'll take the empty bins, put them on the platform, and then put the garbage bags in them just before sanitation comes by. So the idea is to make the maintenance a little easier, and it also will reduce the amount of visible garbage in that low areaway. It's not a perfect solution, but it's sort of better than what they have now. And that was what we said, and Aaliyah.
I just wanted to talk about the doors for a second, because I walked by the church today. The doors are elevated, and so you can't really see into the church unless you're standing at the top of the stairs. And if the doors are closed, why would you be standing at the top of the stairs? So the idea that increasing visibility is not really that logical. Plus, the building itself is much weightier than what the photos look like. There are the pediments around and the frame around the door are significant pieces of stone. The metal work above the door, the glass work below that is significant. There is a substance to it. The new doors don't match the weightiness of the building, and they look insignificant compared to what the older doors with their heavier bronze look like. So I would oppose the doors.
Michelle.
Yeah, I oppose it very, very strongly. Now, this is not to say that if they kept these old doors, that they couldn't repair the hinges. So nobody's saying that they can't bring them up to a functional level, and they haven't denied that they could. But to me, this is a very, very, very significant difference to its detriment on a magnificent and revered old building, not to be taken lightly, this change. If they wanted to change the glass, they could probably do that as well. But to change the aesthetic of what you're looking at is, to me, completely outrageous on this building. I urge you to vote against it.
I understand, and I don't disagree that the existing doors are, let's say, nicer in a way. But I think that one of the things that we're charged with looking at is whether or not those doors are a character defining element of the building. And it's hard for me to say that go back one more, that any doors except those bronze doors are a character defining element of the building.
Well,
That's just, it's an opinion.
No, but I have another comment about the garbage, which is the other part of this issue. I disagree. I think it is defining, and especially if you claim that you want to alter them so that you can look in, which of course is not even possible because they're at the top of the
I want to make
they are defined.
two comments. We have to be out of here by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm just.
Okay, now to this. To me, this is really, this proposal solves nothing. What you're looking at is sort of a picture of subway grade. And that's what they want to put at street level above this little areaway. and then bring the garbage up to that street level, and they have to do it manually. It's no lift, it's a fixed thing. And to me, what it mainly dealt with was that they may or may not have staff available to move those required bins to that platform in a timely fashion, in accordance with the Department of Sanitation, the time that they pick up the garbage. So to me, this really adds nothing, but we didn't break it up, so we were forced to vote on both issues. However, the front that is the defining element for me, and I urge you not to approve it.
Jane.
Call the question.
Is anyone, I know Michelle's voting no, anyone else other than Michelle voting no? Alita, Bill?
I'm not voting for pause.
Okay.
What's your cause?
I work for Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
I'll set on the vote. Can you move to the next slide, please? It is 12 East 69th Street. Here we have the front and the back. What's most critical here on this house is the ground level, where they want to, what you're seeing on the left is, and on the right is what's there today. And the changes they want to make primarily, can you just? Sorry. Yeah. It's fine, totally. One of the changes have to do with the main entrance door and also access to the basement. So essentially what they're doing is,
I thought the question was.
No.
You're right, please continue.
okay. And so you have on the left and the right, the existing, the proposed. What's happening is they are trying to go back to the original as closely as possible. On the other hand, the door is going to be recessed, stairs are going to be dropped down, so that they do match what was originally there. And by recessing the door, they get a bigger platform in front of the door. Go to the next one. And then the other aspect, leave it here, you can see how, if you look closely, how they're dropping the stairs. What that does is it forces them to drop the entrance to the basement level, but they leave the cellar the same level. In effect, they now have recreated what was there at the original design. Let's go to the next. And here you see existing and proposed. Let's go to the next. And this is the rear. And what you see is this apse-like structure. And what they're doing is go to the next. They're creating a platform. Because the garden is recessed. And they're changing the fenestration on the basement of the first floor levels. And they are adding planter boxes. I also didn't mention they were adding planter boxes on the front. And last but not least, the windows are being approved at staff level. Everything else I've explained has to be voted on here. Next. Last but not least, they are creating changes to the roof. They're adding a skylight, which you can see on the right. They've got a slightly larger bulkhead, and they're creating two what I call polys, tent-like structures on the rear of the building. Let's go to the next. Essentially, when you're looking towards the park, it's very little visible, but when you're looking from Fifth Avenue, you can see the bulkhead. Bulkhead is going to be done in zinc with a matte finish, so it's going to sort of go with the sky.
You guys in the back?
But there are sort of trellises around the perimeter, and the tent-like structures are also going to be a French blue. Go to the next. And from 68th Street, looking toward 69th Street, You do see one of the structures you do see the structures on the roof. I think quite frankly, it's a serendipity. It's a nice, delightful surprise. And my own personal opinion is that these are follies on the roof and they do nothing to detract from the restoration. And they're the kind of thing that you do see on occasion, even in very serious buildings. Next. Just a reminder, looking at the front, and you see the planter boxes, again, which I mentioned earlier. So we need to have a motion on this, okay?
Second. Motion to approve, right? Kate?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Motion to approve, yes.
Is there anyone voting no or abstaining? All right, just Michelle, anyone else?
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. You took a 3.5 hour meeting on Monday night and reduced it to.
Just a little bit, but we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Oh.
Thanking you.
Okay, next we have,
Okay, then let's.
yeah, the next one was you. Yeah, here we are, but that's much bigger.
I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, this is 726 Madison Avenue, which is a 2-story plus a roof. Colonial Georgian, Neo-Georgian kind of building. It was built as a bank in 1931 by one of the predecessors of JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase still owns it, will continue to own it. Yeah,
We're not doing this.
no, we don't do it.
Okay, but we don't have enough time. I mean, I'm being very serious.
So can we take 4 and 6 together since they're?
Oh, yeah, let's take 6 together.
Yeah.
Take 4 and 6, definitely take
Okay.
6 together. But at any rate, they are restoring the exterior of the building. They're adding a very sensitively designed egress door on the 64th Street side. And the only alteration, as it were, is they're adding mechanical space up above. And there we are on the side again. And actually, if you go to the last one, you'll just see a picture of it new. There we go. And they're going to restore this to its original condition and restore the front door and also make it accessible. The building will continue to be used by Chase as a conference center. So that's this one. Number 6 was a completely inconsequential change to a building on 950?
910 Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue at 72nd Street, 910 Fifth Avenue. And there it is. And even if you cozy up to that and really zoom in on it, you can't hardly tell what they did. 14th floor. So.
Motion to approve. Call the question on both.
Call the question on.
Second.
Anybody voting no? Okay, great.
Let's go back to the slides. It's 53 East 77th Street. This is a third, can you go back to the slide? On 50?
Yes.
This is a very unusual situation because we have a building that was built in 1901, as opposed to our building changed in 1927 to a medieval Spanish style. And right now what we have with the medieval Spanish is a contributing building to the historic district. And we have this unusual situation of wanting to take a contributing building and change it. If they want to change it back to the original building, which was the Beaux-Arts building. And I know it's going to come up, so I'm going to say it right now. Chris Gray, as Jane Marshall pointed out to us, wrote a wonderful article in the New York Times about the medieval Spanish building. But my own point of view was you can take either point of view to say, want to keep the Spanish, or if you want to bring it back to the original and you do it well, then.
Well, there's a picture of the two of them side by side.
Well, I'll get to that. Just start at the beginning for me, please, and I will get to it.
Is that not where it is?
Start at the beginning. Please go back. At the beginning.
Oh, that is it.
Oh, go to the beginning.
Is this the beginning?
That's the beginning. That
I'm
is,
familiar with it.
yes, that is essentially the original building, but as they want to remake it to the original building. Okay, go to the next. And here is the original building, and you can see that it is very beautifully crafted. Keep going. And this, of course, is the medieval Spanish building. It has some unusual features, like the hood, the hooded overhang at the top. And you can see that they've taken out all of the original limestone and essentially made a brick building. And if you look closely, you'll see it has square-ended bricks in it. Keep going. This shows you in the gray the amount of original brick that's there, and then what was changed. And they want to bring back the building, keeping the original brick, removing the new brick, and putting in limestone and brick to match the original. Go to the next. And in the rear, they're taking down everything you see in terms of the fire escape. Next. On the third floor, there are these very beautiful stained glass windows that were put in the 1927 renovation. Those are being saved. Go to the next.
It's loading.
Hmm?
It's loading.
People have it on their.
Yeah.
So, okay.
The purpose of this is to show you the way they are extending the penthouse and making it a part of the building, so it's a little bit bigger than the original building. And you can see putting back the limestone, so you're seeing the current against the restoration. Next, please. One of the things that really is very beautiful about what they're doing, they have done a tremendous amount of research on this building. Even going back to finding old coins on which the bas reliefs within which the arched headers over the doors are in some sense embossed. So there are many slides of this. So it's very hard to, thank you, very hard to question the seriousness of which they are trying to bring back the original building. Last but not least, they're creating, it's going to be an art gallery. They're creating a double height space in the front, and they're putting on a double height space in the rear, which they're allowed to do as of right. And here you can see the existing on the right, the proposed on the left. And if you look, you can see at the top where you do see the, you will see in the future the extension of the penthouse. And essentially, we felt as a committee that that was fine because it's integral to the overall design of the reconstruction of the original building. So this is what they have presented to us. This is the way we've looked at it. And
there were dissenting votes.
There were dissenting votes.
And I just wanted to very quickly.
No,
Yes.
no, like, people can make a motion if they want to. Wait, what is this?
No. This is important. This is as important as arguing for 20 minutes about.
Okay, fine.
It really is.
Okay.
Sorry to be such a pain in the ass, but I am.
There's two people who voted no. Go ahead.
Taking a contributing building nearly 100 years old and sacrificing its authenticity for a partial recreation from a handful of photos is just not right. I have no illusions that the proposal before us will be approved at Landmarks, but it's better in this case to restore a century-old building by a not unimportant architect than it is to recreate out of nothing a building that ceased to exist a century. That's it.
Chuck, call the question.
Second.
Everybody opposed? For calling the question?
Oh, no.
I guess call the roll, or is anybody, how many people would be opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's see, maybe we should call the roll.
Call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Angelos,
No.
Ashby,
Ashby, I gotta unmute you, I'm sorry.
This is to approve.
And Sherry,
Yes. Karen,
Yes.
Birnbaum,
Yes.
Boris,
No.
Camp,
No.
Chu,
Yes.
Coleman.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Coleman? Yes. Cormac, Colin Clark,
Yes.
Hartzog,
Yes.
Sorry, Hershenson,
Yes.
Halpern,
Yes.
Hussein,
No.
Johnson, pass. Crickler, left, right, later,
Yes.
Lev, yes, Mason,
No.
Clement,
No.
Meyer, left, sorry, partial,
No.
Phillips,
No.
Popper,
No.
Price,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Sanchez,
sorry. Let's see.
Yes.
Sassen,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Seligson, Squire,
No.
Stein,
Yes.
Tamaya,
Yes.
Wald,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Weiner.
No.
All right, Johnson?
Yes.
All right, did I miss anyone else? Okay, with that, the resolution passes 22 yes, 12 no's.
Okay, I still congratulate you on 4 hours and whatever. All right, Parks and Waterfront.
Okay, police, that's the lead. So I'll do it. We have just one simple resolution for the Swedish Cottage in Central Park. And it's to put in new railings and install 2 flag poles. Second.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Okay, so unanimous approval. Now, I just want to read one sentence that you may not have read the minutes. At Colliers Park, there was an assault reported to the police, which happened on the pickleball courts. It is a very disturbing issue. If there is continuing bullying people and getting hurt over the game, Sheena Kaufman, that's our parks representative, will request from her supervisor to have the courts removed. Now, I saw Trish, our former coach of the Parks, who's the Manhattan Parks Chair, Tuesday at a ribbon cutting at John Jay, and she's willing to go in that direction. I have to say, Valerie and Will, one of the people who was talking on our screen from at home today was the person, he punched somebody in the neck and the police were called. And I don't know if they needed an ambulance or not, but I'm not sure that we should be giving those people, I may be out of line, David, but I'm not sure that we should be giving those people time at our money.
Okay, well, it's a public session, so we're aware of what's happening.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just have a question. From what I understand, that the issue was over the nets You know, that
If
because.
there are a number of issues.
But-
I can't get into that now.
No, it's just a point of information. I would like to know if the city provides the nets or if they have to bring their own.
They're bringing their own. Everybody is bringing their own at the moment.
It's
It's
not a
the
permit.
bins where they're stored that has become the problem. I'll talk to you offline about it.
All right,
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you all.
Thank you, Judy, for. Can we give Joel a microphone?
Big voice. We have all unanimous, on these vendors, but only one that was, that's not unanimous. So all of the unanimous.
Yes, one quick question.
My understanding from reading the applications was that two of the items, the not 527, the YCS and then another elementary school were having their street fair at the same time and they were combined. And I think I read when you asked the question to one, if they have food, they said no, and you asked the question to the other and they said yes. So I just wondered if there's food, and if so, what kind?
What does it matter?
Because I care about.
Is it from YS?
Yeah, it was YES and the other ones.
They
You don't know the answer to
but they do it, they
Say that again?
They do it from the school, they're not vendors, things like that.
They don't have truckers.
No, they don't.
Okay, so.
They do everything from this, from the, of the
Okay, so
school.
I'll give you my vote separately, because I'm sure I'll have to.
Anybody voting against besides Michelle?
Michelle, well, I just, okay, no for one, no for two, yes for three, yes for four.
We just break that down separately.
No for one, no for two, yes for three, yes for four. And, oh, this was the issue. All right, yes for five and six.
Okay, thank you.
One and two or something.
Okay, is there another one?
That's
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there any old business?
Judy's doing the old business.
Any new business?
Well, wait, this on the street light, you said were you unanimous or you voted no at the?
I voted no.
On one.
This is a new, only I can say why.
So you want to be a no on one.
Okay,
There's only for the.
okay, yeah. Don't everybody leave, because first of all, the election committee has to meet in the back and elect a chair.
Wait.
Jane, Anthony, Chuck, Peggy, and Michelle. Elect your chair before the end of the day.
And I want to apologize, because one of the public hearings told us it was only gonna take.
Why 27?
That was not unanimous.
Right, number 5.
Right, so street fair 5, you're a no, is there anyone else that's a no?
No, she wants to say why.
Oh, you want to- oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. The woman has the floor.
The reason why I said no is because this is the first time. And it's on 92nd Street, which is the new street to get to the FDR Drive. And I've seen at least 2 people killed on that corner. And I was concerned because, and that street, they used to have a
Please
play
don't
street.
talk. Floor.
They had a play street, they had to stop the play street because it was a dangerous, everybody rushed to get onto the drive. So that's why I was concerned. I was concerned about the safety of that, close off the whole street.
Okay, thank you. All right, and is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you very much for your patience.